Obi-Wan Kenobi news again because there's still stuff going on that is worth talking about. And hey, everybody in the chat, I'm glad you guys are with us today. Rob will be with us in a minute or two, I think. And yeah, so I'll just pull up the old article right now. This is from yesterday. We didn't get to it yesterday because everyone was just like talking about the last episode. Obi-Wan Kenobi finale, Deborah Chow and Kathleen Kennedy on the future seasons by Stacey Lamb on ET, right? And you might have heard this quote already, but just in case anybody hasn't, we'll kind of get to it. Deborah Chow says, "I think it. If it was to go forward, it would only be if there was a real reason for another one. So, meaning they just need a really good idea. Well, frankly, we did set out to make that a limited series." Then goes on to say, "But I think, oh yeah, then I think this is Kennedy, right? I think this is Kennedy who said this. Yeah. But I think there's a huge engagement and people really want more Obi-Wan. We'll certainly give that consideration because the fans, they speak to us. And if we feel like, okay, if there's a real reason to do this, it's answering the why then we'll do it. But we'll see." And Ewan McGregor, there's other quotes that we could have brought up today, but didn't bother to get them because it's just a lot more of the same stuff. As Rob knows, we're totally doing it. Max, my mic is low.
Jeez. Oh, man. Well, now no one can hear you, buddy. You went from, I'll turn my volume up to gone.
Gone.
Whoa,
I ordered a new mic cable. So it's getting a little wacky. All right,
you know
come
only
on.
one thing.
Come on,
Jason.
baby. Hold together.
Right. You know what it means? Invasion.
Yeah.
Invasion.
Communications disruption is happening here. Get C.O. Bibble in Obi-Wan 2. That was the tease if you read between the lines, you guys. That was the tease. C.O. Bibble's back, baby. C.O. Bibble shows up. Obi-Wan's cave. Where did you go? You said if I ever needed you to come to this cave. But
he was a big sports guy in high school. You know that?
C.O.?
Yeah, he played basketball. They called him Double Dribble Bibble.
Double Dribble Bibble.
Yeah, that's what they did.
I think that was like a Nintendo game. A Star Wars, a long forgotten Star Wars Nintendo game. Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was as hard as Top Gun. It was as hard to land. But if you read the manual,
Jason,
you could do it.
I'm being facetious. It was also in. They had some cartoon characters in the first season of Video Power when there was a cartoon. Before it was a game show.
Oh shit.
Before it was a game show.
So, oh yeah, at the start, I don't know if I got us taken down by doing it or not, but Max made the video of Leia for that you suggested when she runs around with like the Benny Hill music.
That's great.
So yeah, we worked on it for a little bit last night.
That's definitely getting taken down.
Like, it makes me laugh. Well, I put like a few seconds, so maybe got it in under the gun. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So anyways, this is like Ewan McGregor in every single interview is saying that he wants to do another one. The powers that be keep saying we'll do one if there's basically once we develop it. That's what I'm reading between those lines. I had a story just a little while ago when I met with some sources from inside Disney who were like, "Oh yeah, we're fucking totally doing one." So it's like I'm putting all of this together. I think it's completely as good to go as you can get without a formal announcement. And I don't think you could get a formal announcement until you probably have like, a direction with people hired and stuff like that. But there's a lot of like things that they can't go back to, but there's a lot of things on the table that are just really obvious. Like Qui-Gon Jinn. That's a really obvious, like you're going to need that for the next season. They probably already have Liam Neeson. They probably, when they got him back for this, they probably got him for an option for more, I would think anyways, but they probably have to like work that out, make sure they got him. And then characters like Roken and Haja, you could bring them back if, you could bring them back in anything else too, but you could bring them back here if you needed to. And then I think Leia could be on the table for a return, but like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader might have cashed that check on the first go. I don't think you could go back to them too much. I don't think you go back to Owen and Beru necessarily either. Probably not. Anyways, not in a meaningful way. Does Obi-Wan ride past the farm and get his little binoculars out every now and then? That's
Yes.
possible. That's possible.
Yeah, but he watches Owen shower, not so much Beru.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Hey.
it's I'm not judging. But
70s
yeah.
Bush, bro. Like they're gonna go full. They're gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
Method acting.
Well, fixers out there, and you're just like, whoa, fixer. Come on.
I do want him to show up at Anchorhead and like Obi-Wan, just like he has the highest score. You know what I mean? But he takes two. He puts in Ben and Obi just to fuck with Fixer and everyone else who wants that score.
So, really quickly too, because a couple of people have been sort of douchebags about it.
Okay, my bad.
I am not. No. I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not. I've never said or claimed to get 100% things right or to be right all of the time. But if I fucking tell you Qui-Gon Jinn is showing up in Obi-Wan's ear and it's talking to him during a fight, and then it doesn't happen, I wasn't wrong, because I don't make shit up. And that was how it happened. Then they changed it to a montage edit of lines from the series of Darth Vader talking shit to pull Obi-Wan down, and then him remembering all of the things that the twins had done. And they used that instead of Qui-Gon for the last final fight. So if you want to pick on me and use that as like your angle to pick on me, you're gonna look fucking stupid. This isn't my first rodeo. I just look at the watch right here and watch it tick down until that officially comes out. So if you want to be hey, phone, it was your idea to change it.
Jace, now let's just tell them all the truth. In the original script, he when he was in the little cave of dirt, he was saying, "Come on, Spider-Man! Come on, Spider-Man! You can do it, Spider-Man!" And then he lifts all the dirt up and he gets out. He uses force webs. It's true. That's the original script.
You kept saying that, but that's not what they were doing, Dave. You weren't listening. You went and saw Spider-Man. Like the last thing you saw, you think everything is that, and that was never true. There was never Spider-Man.
Okay.
You're really making people's lives hard. Like people have families, Dave. People want to go home on Saturday.
Canceling Filoni.
Yeah. No, but that was how it happened for during principal photography.
Jason, let's also tell them about the original stinger at the end of the 6th episode where Reva just shows back up to work and acts like she wasn't fired.
It probably worked all the time with George too. It did. He'd just be like,
let's be honest,
all these people are looking the same to me these days.
Little known fact, dude, John Dykstra's still working there in the basement. They just don't know it.
Dykstra Flex 2.0, it's happening.
Yeah, but that flex is a whole nother kind of flex. You know what I mean?
It's actually exercise equipment with little Darth Vader logos on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so anyways, just wanted to say if anybody wants to say I got that one wrong, I'm making Star Wars. It's about the making of Star Wars. That was right. And
like literally, dude, if you're gonna make shit up, you'd make up a lot more cooler shit than that, dude. Like,
sure.
I'm not saying that isn't cool, but you know what I mean? You'd come up with some, and Yoda fucking, and they're speaking together, and they all get together and have a PowerPoint presentation and shit, you know what I mean? And plan out fucking the next 3 movies. I mean, like...
What makes me laugh, though, is that I went and I say, Qui-Gon comes in his ear, pumps him up, there was... Okay.
I know.
But there was like
Sorry.
No, but there was like details that I wasn't allowed to give about it,
right.
About the about parts of that story. But while I was while I was going about explaining that, I used the comparison of Mickey from Rocky.
Dude, Qui-Gon literally uses...
Wait, hold on.
But Qui-Gon literally uses the dialogue at the end that you gave, too, when you were giving that story.
100%.
That's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah, Yeah, so I got shit wrong. But anyways though, but I go and like one of the fucking assholes who's like trying to go, actually, trying to do that shit to me after profiting off of my work fucking immensely over the last couple of months is like,
sorry about that.
But he's like, yeah, no, not really. That was wrong. So, but then goes on it and uses my comparison of Mickey from Rocky. That's not what fucking Deborah Chow was saying. Hey, you're doing Mickey from Rocky. Oh, this is Mickey from no, that's me. And you fucking lifted it several fucking times and then had the gall to throw it back in my face to build yourself up to your kid audience so they think you're the man. Golf clap. You're fucking pathetic. Anyways, let's look at what Qui-Gon has to say about stuff. Star Wars.
But I mean, like I said, hold on. But like I just want to reiterate, just to clarify for folks, when you told that exact detail about him and his, in his ear whispering the whole Mickey thing, you also then went on to describe how he reappears at the end, right? Same conversation.
What took you so long?
Been here. And you said, what took you? No. Let's just be honest. Like, if I said Qui-Gon's coming back, how many people are gonna fucking conjure up the phrase "What took you so long"?
Mm-hmm.
Just curious. Like, just do the math. Sit down, write a scene, conjure up some fucking dialogue. That's exactly that phrase. I'm telling you, man. Average fans, when they conjure up dialogue, they just play off phrases that the character already said. That's why when you always go, I want him to say hello there, and I want him to say negotiations, and I want him to say, like just shit you've already heard. They don't conjure up new fucking lines that then wholly appear. And by the way, when that Luke and Leia montage hits his head, man, it's just it's such forced editing, dude. It's not even that great. Like, I love that whole fight. That where he just sees all that shit, like, man, if Star Wars for the longest time, remember during the prequels, Attack of the Clones specifically, when it leaked that there would be some kind of like vision, that Anakin has a vision of Padme dying or whatever, it was like, well, Star Wars has never done flashbacks or flash forward or anything like that. And then here, this is why, because like Lucas would never have been like, just fucking throw some footage from a previous movie right over the footage. He would try to find some creative way to do it. Yeah. Like, it's just such a...
Well, really quickly, actually, since we're going that way, let's talk about that for a second, because I feel like in doing what they did, it was sort of a good idea, in that it brings it back to the twins. But I think it kind of made Qui-Gon look a little like an asshole. I'm not gonna lie. He's not there the whole time. He's fucking going up against Darth Vader, all this shit, and then at the end he just comes up like, hey, yeah, we did it, right?
It's half-baked execution.
I did it. I'm Obi-Wan. You just showed up now, Qui-Gon. What are you talking about?
And it doesn't have it loses the way it appears in that episode. And I didn't get into it that night because, like, everyone's on a high and I don't want to, but I'm saving my critiques for a couple days later when everyone can chill out. Okay. But like when he's just walking along and goes, oh, Master Qui-Gon, you're out here too. It's like, come on, man. Like that is not it. The guy's sitting there in a cave in the first episode, like whispering to his master, he's alone. Where are you? I'm alone. He's been abandoned the way these kids don't have parents. You know what I mean? Like this is about like losing family. You know what I mean? And having chosen families and stuff. And what was preventing Qui-Gon? Well, the whole time was just because you were depressed. Perk up, Buttercup. Like I don't know if that's the message to take away. It's just kind of a half-baked like execution. The ideas are all there. I agree with pursuing them. But the execution of that was like, we just kind of ran out of spots. So
I mean, I'm going to throw it out there too. There is a chance that the lines with Qui-Gon just didn't sound good or just didn't work right.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
Didn't flow. It just didn't connect. And
normally in a film you do reshoots, but I guess with this you just gotta like
or the idea just straight up didn't work. I mean, there's a possibility that like Liam Neeson just has a different tone than an Alec Guinness, and it just didn't work. I don't know.
I'm not
I don't
saying
know why
it's easy. Some people go, it's easy. What's so hard? It's fucking hard.
Making Star Wars is hard.
Yeah, I was listening to the editor of Top Gun, right,
Hmm.
on the Light the Fuse podcast, and he was killing himself trying to edit the whole film by himself. This guy named Eddie, and so they brought in. He told Breckheimer, "I'm not sleeping. I'm gonna die. Need help." And so they brought in the dude who edited Days of Thunder, right, on film, right, like one of them classic dudes. And the whole ending to the movie, I'm not breaking the ending, but there's a whole aerial battle at the end. You remember the chase, the thing in the end with the two guys.
Yeah, it's been
In
out
the
for weeks
origin-
now. If you didn't see it now, it's on you.
Well, in the original ending, Maverick was chasing the 5th generation fighter. They shot it all that way, and it wasn't working. The editor came in and re-edited it so they're being pursued, and you can't tell.
Yeah.
That is fucking like, and I'm not saying that was easy, because you probably spent an entire year trying to get that scene right. In these TV situations, like, there's no room for like that sort of thing in production. Right. And the question remains, should they? Should they? You know? And I think for new characters and new procedural series, no, I don't. I think you should roll with it, iterate as you go. However, if you're gonna drag out a legacy character and you're gonna bring out all the original actors and you're gonna make a big cinematic element out of it, then I do think they stand to put a bit more of that movie-like mentality behind it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Hello Me says, "Hey, Making Star Wars. My friend told me that you didn't bring up Palpatine. Is that true?" It is true. Palpatine, to the best of my knowledge, must not have been filmed during principal photography. And
I feel a lot of that stuff was like done on the sly, you know? Like,
well, at least Palpatine was the one thing that was the people that I know who were working on it didn't know about that. So,
and you said you don't know, and you don't think so.
And I said I would be happy if it did happen. I said
Right.
I'd be happy to be wrong about that one. And somebody asked me, I was like, what's the chance of it happening? I was like, 1%. which was me just going, there's always a chance, you know, like in Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance? There's a chance.
So if you think Jason's full of shit, stop watching the show. You'll be
no.
here.
Hello,
he's
not saying that.
They're not going. No, not him. I'm saying those other people. Like, they go away. We're full. Now we're making Star Wars 0 over here, right? Like, come on, fuck faces. Like, I seriously, like, think about it. Like, all the years you've been doing it, man. Like, there have been times when you're like, I don't know, it went this way, it changed. The one that I'll never forget, and you brought it up before, but it's true, was when you talked about Ben Solo being on the Millennium Falcon in Force Awakens.
Exactly.
And,
that's exactly. This is the same situation.
Yeah.
Is I'm reporting on something that is being made. If something is being made, things change.
Right.
But
well, Captain Hindsight, it's easy to go, I knew it all the whole time. I had the info and never released it, right? Those guys. You know, they do that.
Oh, yeah. I was sitting on it, you guys, you know.
The Civil War was coming for me. I was afraid.
Les says, Jason, you got one detail wrong, so discredit everything you got right before. Yeah, and it's like that's the thing is, I got a cutscene. I still think that like everyone always just needs to be like aware. Oh yeah, things get cut, things get changed, and that's it. Literally is a cutscene now. But it's right, and it's 100% right actually. But we will see. Like I said, it will come out. And Ducky's all, geez, can't believe Santa was doing that to you, cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded, right? That's the Charlie Murphy, right?
Yeah,
James bit.
I believe Baymax. I believe he called me.
Sorry, Charlie Murphy is probably the greatest storyteller I've ever heard. And anytime you bring up anyone brings it up, I just think of that in that flashback when he kicks him into the fucking glass.
Yeah. Baymax, I think he called me petulant. He called me petulant because I did not appreciate somebody who has, used my scoops for weeks now to help himself. Oftentimes blaming me for him starting a little bit of a race thing. And then has the gall to call me petulant when I take offense to the fact that somebody's like, wow, those leaks were really good. And he's like, well, not really. Not 100%. It's like he can't see it because he's an egomaniac fuckface. Easily.
Thank you.
But you know what?
You're not talking about me?
No, not you.
Oh, damn it.
I'm just like,
one time you're nice to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get past it. I'm like the fucking gall in this guy. It's like, dude, if you need validation that bad, go to fucking therapy, because you got it, man. You got yourself an audience. You have your validation, dude. You don't have to invalidate others to make yourself feel good.
And the ones that get me the most are the ones that are like, look, guys, he finally likes something. That means we can like it. No, I don't give a fuck what this dude thinks. Seriously. All this guy fucking does, man, is sit around, fucking tell everyone why they should hate some shit, why everything fucking sucks, and people of color or people of certain of whatever gender type shouldn't be in the fucking thing he loves. So fuck that asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can tell him Sketchcraft said fuck him. You know, seriously, he's a piece of shit.
Sketchcraft says fuck you. You're a piece of shit.
You're a piece of shit. And your fan film sucks too. Fuck off.
It wasn't that guy. It's a different guy. It was the other one.
Your Kung Fu sucks too.
Okay, fair enough.
Which one? There's a lot of these fucking guys. I don't know.
They're
all on my. Was it the Kung Fu guy? Was it Karate Kid?
Well, I just wanted to say Baymax, not 100. Not 100. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Their future fan film, because you know it's coming. They're all gonna make one. They're gonna once they figure out that they can just sort of grift fan films. You know, they can't do the fan edits. That was the thing for a while. Remember, they were like, "Oh, pay me to do my fan edit." There's no money in that, but they'll all grift off a fan film. You'll see. Every one of them can just make this shit easy, right? It's super easy. Anyone can just make a fucking Star Wars thing, just super fucking easy. Yeah, get Unreal.
This guy, Jesus, fat nerds argument. Who's a bigger nerd? Maximum fucking lame, dude. You're the one who's watching my show. You're beneath the fat nerd bitching about stuff. You're the one who's literally watching the show.
He's a bottom bitch nerd.
You're a bottom bitch fat nerd. You're my bottom bitch fat nerd, Chris. It's official.
This is not the show to start some shit, my friend, dude. I can do this all day. You know what I mean? I love getting into it. Fucking losers.
All right.
Having a good time?
Star Wars favorite discusses surprise return for Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Star is told the Hollywood Reporter that he decided to reprise his classic character in live action for a number of reasons. Remember when he said he wasn't in it, though? He was so lying.
It's true. I mean, technically he wasn't, because it's a visual effect. And
he's all, I wasn't going to do it until I learned they would release it theatrically in Canada. I'm a big proponent of Canadian cinema. It's the only place you can see most of my direct-to-video movies these days.
I'm doing the Harrison Ford. I don't know why. I don't got a fucking Liam Neeson yet. But Jason, they let you piss yourself in Canadian theaters. You could just fucking pee right in the chair. So
you can just do it. They call that a Canadian restroom. Star Wars fans were floored on Wednesday when Liam Neeson made his return to a galaxy far, far away in the series finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus. In the closing moments of the Star Wars miniseries, Neeson returned to the franchise for the first time since Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn in live-action form. He also voiced the character in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Yeah, I believe the prequels used additional dialogue that they had and re-edited it, repurposed it. It had been no,
Jason?
Anakin, no, and stuff. Yeah?
Really
George?
quick.
You, George?
Yeah. Everyone knows in Canada they have Tim's Bits, right? But they don't know that you can also get Neeson's pieces. Yeah, Neeson's pieces. Just
Neeson's pieces. All right, George. Yeah. George. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the article, George. Your fun facts are.
Oh, whatever.
You're making me hungry. And now, you're making this fat nerd hungry. Given how much time has passed since
we're not saying we aren't fat. We're just saying this guy's a bottom bitch fat nerd.
No, he's just a bottom bitch. Yeah, he's just a feeder.
Yeah,
he's a feeder.
Yeah, he's a feeder. You like it? He's gonna be back, fucking sucking off your fucking teats soon enough, dude.
Yeah, I like to read the spoilers so I could get mad about Disney and what they're doing next. The Academy Award nominated actor told the Hollywood Reporter that he decided to return to the franchise for a number of reasons. I certainly didn't want anyone else playing Qui-Gon Jinn, and I wanted to show my respect for George Lucas and the mythical world that he created. Oh, maybe Disney shouldn't have made it then. Sorry, that's what somebody's going to say. That Neeson told Hollywood Reporter.
Maybe they shouldn't have, though.
Plus, you and McGregor, get off the show.
What? I mean, I kind of agree with them. They're just assholes. You know what I mean? Sucks. I can't even have my opinions now. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, he's all. Plus, Ewan is a pal, and I loved working with him during the Phantom Menace 25 years ago. In 1999 film, Qui-Gon Jinn was Obi-Wan's master And through a series of events, the pair of Jedi found Anakin Skywalker on Tatooine. Not long after helping to rescue Anakin's freedom, Qui-Gon was killed during a lightsaber duel with Darth Maul. So Neeson has noted in years past that he was always a fan of the film and tuned out the initial criticism.
Mm-hmm. Question. Did they show him getting gutted in the original, in that montage, like any of the montage in the first episode, or when Obi-Wan is like remembering episode 1?
I actually don't remember. I skip the montage usually, so I've only watched that once or twice.
I don't remember it. I'm not gonna watch it, but I just wonder because like I imagine they didn't, because everyone seems to survive stomach stabs in this series, right? But that's Qui-Gon should have been like, I'm the only motherfucker who can't survive a stomach stab. Like no back to tanks in episode 1, dude.
No. That's what my that's what my thought was too. Was like everyone gets stabbed and he's the one who dies.
Yeah,
take it, and then comes back at the end like, oh, I was here the whole time.
No, you know what? That's a good reason. But I didn't want to come back because you're hanging out with all these stomach stabbers, and it fucking bums me out. You know.
Thank you for the super chat, Tom. My son did say right away, "Wow, he looks old." You know what was funny was with my son. I said that. I said, "Wow, he looks a lot older," and then my son's like, "No, he looks exactly the same." It's like
sounded a little older too. I mean, we all sound older, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
Like, that was one of the things. Like, we just, I don't know, man. You know, like, I mean, it's. I love seeing Neeson again. I just, you know, like that's one of those things where, okay, if you're gonna stick with not aging anyone, just remember Anakin's 19 when he's a Force ghost now in Return of the Jedi. I mean, like, it's but so weird.
You can just do that if you want to. You could just do. You're a ghost. You could do whatever you want.
Well, luckily we can face replace. Maybe now they're just like, hey, we don't have to do face replacement because we know YouTube will do it for us. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's freebie.
It's free.
It's freebie. You know? It's free.
I like Phantom Menace. Neeson told Andy Cohen on Sirius XM Channel Radio in 2020. I'm proud of it and proud to have been a part of it. I got to be a Jedi. Got to play those wonderful lightsabers and stuff. It was terrific, Andy. It really was. And then
Jason, did they get any of the? Did him or any of the principal actors from the Phantom Menace get a cut on the toys or the merch?
I'm gonna say, I don't know, but I'm gonna say no. By that
Lucas
point, it was well known.
In like Hamill and Ford and all of them, right? Like when after the fact, he cut them in like on a 1%.
He cut them in on points on the film because everybody was underpaid. So he ended up giving. I believe he gave points from the film to people who were severely underpaid during the production, because he felt embarrassed about how little they were paid and then how much it made. And then I don't think at that point the merchandise stuff had been solidified, because shortly after that they started a company called Black Falcon, and that was what they used to start like the merch as everything was being handled before it. So I'm gonna say most likely the merch stuff no one got anything from initially or ever.
That first movie would have been the one to get it. You know what I mean? The Phantom Menace would have been the one.
Yeah. For the prequel people, the Phantom Menace would have been it. Like, I remember there were articles back then, which I wonder if we could dig up, but basically saying like this movie is kind of made on the cheap, and actors really aren't paid as much as you would think, because it's about the exposure. And
the internet.
It's like
internet bucks.
yeah, kind of. I mean, when you get down to it, like I don't know how much Ewan. It's probably public somewhere now, but I bet Ewan didn't make that much off of being Obi-Wan Kenobi in the movie. But in the end, he was, elevated from a really good indie star to he got some feature films after that and stuff. So it definitely helps. And I think that's kind of how they pay them today. They have like, I don't know if it's still active, but there was a sliding pay scale. Every time you return to Star Wars, you kind of go up. You go up and you go up. So because it means that you're important to the franchise. And so it sounds like it could be a fair kind of thing that they do. Like the first time Rey and Finn, they
so are you saying that Black Chrysanthemum could have got more money than Liam Neeson? Like
I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna guess it's different for, but it's different rates for the Wookiee rates. No, I'm gonna say it's principal players are probably paid much.
I got you.
But I really don't nobody really knows the ins and outs of how that stuff works. Because what I was always afraid of on that pay scale concept, like I don't know if it's like, you know, if it's like you reach this step and then the next 5 films you get paid this, and then the next step, the next 5 films you get paid that, because like eventually you could see somebody like Anthony Daniels getting priced out. Like if it just kept going up. So I don't think it just keeps going up indefinitely. I think there has to be like steps or something, because otherwise
Honestly,
Anthony Daniels
they pay him in time on stage, because that motherfucker won't shut up anytime he gets near a microphone. You know,
he gets on that like director's thing. This reminds me of the first day on the Phantom Menace.
And they tolerate it because that was in the contract. He's like, he took less money, but he has to be able to speak for as long as he fucking wants. And it seemed like a deal in 1997, but
what we do is we hire 15 or 16 extras, and we have them stand outside and pretend to be working as crew members, and he talks to them. He has no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the super chat, Blake. I don't think Vader needs to be completely sidelined in a potential season 2. Vader and Kenobi just can't fight again, but we can totally see Vader a bit.
They can fight again. Like, guys, like everyone says what can't be done. I can assure you, if there's money to be made, it all can be done.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it would be a classy move to have them fight again, though. I think it would almost be better to move them sort of like in more into, I mean this in the lightest way, like puppet master roles, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like as in leaders, and then to have the fight kind of be a proxy through them or something would be a smarter way.
I would not do it. But
you can't, you know, there's only so many, you know, like it's weird because they resolved a lot. Yeah. They have him give up on him and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I don't believe that a creative cannot use Darth Vader in a good way in the future. I am afraid of Darth Vader being overused in like what I keep calling the Mr. Manager role. You failed me for the last time. And that rewritten in some way over and over, it starts to feel like a soundboard to a prank call. And so I hope that if they cut that shit out, find a different way to, that's something he says. That's not a character. That's not his character. That's just something he says sometimes. But sometimes they make it his character, if that makes sense. And but I kind of think that like the natural way would be to do something where if you have the Qui-Gon stuff, where Darth Vader is sort of coming at him in a spiritual sense. So that way, when he's like, you know, fighting Darth Vader, you have him fight Maul and, you know, in Mortis like weirdness or something. And then about being able to get the secret knowledge, something like, and then that way they could show Darth Vader. But Filoni is probably bringing Vader into Ahsoka right now. What we've heard. Yeah.
Oh, and I had nothing to say. I was just listening to you. You're pretty good. I'm writing all this down. It's really good stuff.
You're supposed to be making the Ahsoka series, man. You're not supposed to be on YouTube. Yeah. Hang up.
It makes itself. Don't you know? That's how we do things.
You're literally
you're
directing today. You're directing right now.
No, Jays, it makes itself. We just put things on the volume. It all does what it's gonna do. Don't worry about it. It's good.
All right.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Peace out. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Ciao. Thanks again, Blake.
Nice guy.
Blake says, let's have the juxtaposition of Kenobi healing from his past and growing, and Vader being harmed by his past and growing stronger with the dark side. Yeah, I mean they did such a good job, though, Blake, of making him evil. Like he really, you know, a lot of the times when we have Darth Vader in these things, they'll want to do that little peek behind the curtain and go, oh, he's still just a sad man under there. We saw him getting put together and not having a good time. Not a lot of sad man, though. And when he talks about how he killed Anakin, I was like, whoa, this guy is evil. He's evil right now. And
You know how hard it is to not bring Filoni up when you say peek behind the curtain? Like,
oh,
I go back to that? No,
no,
okay, wait. It's too
Filoni.
soon. To be fair, I was gonna have him make a comment about that the algorithm just generates whatever lines it wants to with Vader, so he'll say, like he has no control over it or something. But I was listening to you speak and I just forgot what I was gonna say. That's why I was like, no, I'm just listening to you. I gotta make sure I write this shit down sometimes.
So who is Rob right now? That's a question we ask ourselves all the time, Miss Sunflower.
Who is Rob?
Yeah, he's Dave Filoni Jr. But the juxtaposition of Kenobi healing. Yeah, so it's like the I feel like the natural plot points though are it's something mystical. They always had this backstory that Qui-Gon went to a shaman of the wills to seek out this knowledge, like specifically trying to learn the life after death stuff, because the wills knew how to do it, which is, I think, implied why they are like the historians of the Star Wars universe and are looking down at everything, because they're able to continue on into a new form kind of concept. Well, if we do end up with this kind of stuff, and you have, like I said, like a mystical journey, you're going to have essentially spiritual ghosts and stuff like that. There is a chance of fighting like Phantom Darth Vader and stuff like that, when you think about like just the rabbit hole that they could send Kenobi down if they want to. And they could juxtapose that with the path needing to reorientate itself after pretty much getting exposed in the series, because you don't want them to just like give up on the little Jedi kids, right?
I just love how Obi-Wan knows for a fact that the Empire is shoving little Force kids into Amber for what knows what reason. And he's just like, I'm cool, I'm good now, I'm gonna live on a fucking desert. Just let it all happen. 20 years from now, this kid's gonna solve the problem.
I think that has already happened. I think that I think what they're like, when we hit the first part of it, those are the Jedi those were people who were Jedi who were already captured, I think. They're not just Force sensitives.
He doesn't know that.
So when
doesn't know it.
Yeah, but where it gets confusing or convoluted even is you have Tala going, they're taking Force sensitives and we don't know what happens to them.
Yeah.
Then we have Kenobi find this, and you want to connect those things as being the same thing.
That's what I did.
But when we look at who's in that stuff, those were Jedi. Those were people from the Jedi.
He didn't have time to check every one of them. One of them,
sure.
One of them was just the pizza delivery dude. He was 30 minutes, later than 30 minutes, and he got shoved in Amber.
Yeah, there was a whole top level where they could say, oh look, it was Quinlan Vos was in here the whole time if they want to, for instance.
Yeah.
But I do think if I'm just gonna take what's on screen, just that's it. The implication was that if those were Jedi who were captured during the initial hunt or during the early stages of it. And so now I have a feeling what they're doing with the Force sensitives is something else. And they're probably just killing them mostly. That's probably what it's going to amount to. And I believe that was George Lucas's original idea behind midi-chlorians, was how do you figure out who's Force sensitive if they don't show you? And I think that they were going to have them, people having to be tested and stuff. And that was going to be the way.
It's
right?
True.
It makes sense.
How do you know they're not going to just take half your wealth, Jason? How do you know? How do you test for that? How do you know?
Midi-chlorians, Marsha Divorcian. Marsha Divorcian.
You're getting it, Jason.
Yeah,
You're getting
it. I get how you do it now. I get the Marsha Divorcian.
You see,
is going to be the big bad in Kenobi 2. Spoilers.
Lucas is smart, man. We all need to learn.
But yeah, I mean, but Vader being in it in the Empire. I mean, the Empire is going to be against the backdrop of all of this stuff. If it's the Dark Times, you almost can't escape it to some extent, right? So, but
one would hope.
Yeah, one would hope, but
But what we really want to know is, as Meg would say, what are the syndicates doing? Like,
What
I
are
don't
the
want to know what the
syndicates?
syndicates are doing.
Meg needs to know what they're doing.
What
Meg
are the
needs to know.
syndicates doing? Like, I wish he said that. I'm like, man, I fucking wish I had that accent. Damn it, I was born in this fucking country where we all talk like idiots.
We just got the dumb voice.
Even Canadians without the accent sound better than us. Like kids in the hall, they all sound better than us. Every one of them. Every kid in the hall sounds better than us.
Well, the kids in the hall are better than us. They're an international treasure.
Yeah.
But Baymax says Rob needs a Walmart George Lucas backdrop for days like these.
It's better if I just go to the cartoons. Trust me, folks. Trust me.
Tyrant says, "Holy shit! I actually made it to another live stream. Been missing more of these than Qui-Gon's been missing toilets." Nice one, Tyrant. Nice one.
I like that. That's clever.
But what I don't like about it is Qui-Gon has proved you don't need toilets, so it means you don't need me, Tyrant. You don't.
No. You don't think you as what you don't understand is, as Qui-Gon's walking further into that cavern, more ghost Qui-Gon poops show up, right? Like it's those little blue turds in the desert, you know? And he's like, oh my God, it's just a valley of blue turd Force Ghost shit out there, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, make it go, how do you turn this Force shit off? He's like, see you next season, and disappears. But the Force Ghost poops stay.
Tyrant says, I saw Star Wars saved in the edit. Between that and the early drafts of episode 4, Marsha deserved at least half off out loud.
Oh, we're going to that conversation.
George.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough conversation to have with him.
He sounds like me a few minutes ago. So give him a minute. He needs it.
Divorce dad energy is a thing. Man.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Jace, I didn't understand it watching my father. Yeah. But after, you know, growing up a little bit and hanging out with friends who got divorced, I'm like, I get where I start replaying moments with my dad. I'm like, oh, I get it. I feel sorry. But he's dead now, so I can't talk to him about it.
Well, you know, ask me. I didn't know the answers.
Yeah. It's true.
Hello, me says,
but you might get them wrong, and then nothing you say is credible ever again.
That's true. Well, what you have to understand is what I said was about the first marriage. The second marriage changed things. It changed.
Changed it.
Hello, me says, what are your thoughts on Revan and Acolyte? Honestly, I mean, I hope it's true because I think it'll make a lot of people happy if it applies. Right. But in a lot of ways, I mean, we're having to really stretch to make that make sense. So I am not necessarily I haven't bought into it. I'm like, okay, like let's see where this goes. That's where I am at with it, because it's 100 years before the Phantom Menace, so Revan shouldn't be around. And now there should be other like people who were brought up. Like I think they even mentioned Plagueis. Did they mention Plagueis in that? I can't remember now. But there was like bunch of other Darths from the old Republic era content were mentioned. I think Bane was mentioned. So it may come down to just sort of like, once again, we're going to be really big on montages because of this Obi-Wan Kenobi opening and the fact that we think they're doing a montage for Ahsoka with Darth Vader.
They should take the montage that scrolls left like in Rocky and put Star Wars over it, and that should be their logo, not that weird pewter head thing they keep doing.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think with how Anakin was received in the flashback sequence from Obi-Wan Kenobi, that they will keep him just like that for Ahsoka if they should do flashbacks with young Ahsoka? Or do you think that based off of that they will de-age him, like truly make him look like?
I wonder if that de-age thing is just the showrunner / director's choice. Because it's something that I see Filoni doing, de-aging or any kind of George Lucas technical trick he can get away with.
Yeah, because it's good when he's sort of a fan more of our side, or I should say like the general fan who's like, this annoys me. He doesn't look 100% accurate. Whereas like Deborah Chow's like, you've seen Better Call Saul, probably, right? That's probably what the difference
Yeah.
is between the two, most likely. But so you're thinking they're probably going to go.
I don't know if it's
de-aging,
I can't. It's hard for me to know if it's Deborah Chow. I'm saying Chow and Joby because Joby's
Joby,
showrunner, she directed. So I just
yeah.
wonder if there was a consensus decision, and I imagine they will reveal that when they do that Disney Gallery episode.
Yeah,
I gotta feel they'll bring up defending. They won't do it in a defensive way. They'll do it like in a positive. This was great. We totally wanted to not do that. You know, like way they'll do that. I'm not. Whatever, they don't want to do it. That's their. I'm not fucking.
The first day Hayden was on set, he still gave my Chocha the vapors, and I knew we didn't need to de-age him. He was still fine.
Well, you know, Rick McCallum. I'm always going to say McCallum, Lee.
Yeah.
But Rick McCallum just showed up and still got a nutty, and so we knew he was, we knew he was young enough to.
what they do? So what they do is they put a mirror with the line of Coke on it. They have Hayden stand there. Rick does it. If he still gets hard with the Coke, looking at the guy, yeah, it's fine. It's on, and it's sort of like Groundhog Day. And that's how they decided they need to like de-age. And Mark Hamill, it didn't work. All right, deep fake. Hire that deep fake guy from YouTube. So, listen, these are their methods. They work, so don't question them.
I thought they just bought the deep fake guy on like lock, stock, and barrel, right? You just buy them.
White slavers style, as George Lucas says.
Hey, Lucas said it, so it must be true.
I mean, if he says it, it's canon. That's what I said.
So. I'm gonna work on that, Jason. There's a lot of material with that idea. You opened a door I hadn't realized was available to me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe a door we shouldn't have opened, but nonetheless we did. It's like a Ouija board. Hello Me says this version in Kenobi was implied it was from the version in Kenobi was implied it was from Vader's perspective. Yeah, like a lot of that stuff is editing, and like I think ultimately that's why we had Palpatine thrown in at the end. Palpatine is like thrown in at the end because, like I said, that wasn't originally there. I talked to people during principal photography, like that was done later or in secret to them, and which is I said was weird, and I still think it's weird. It must have been a late addition, like we need that, and they must have like done it during Mando.
It's why I don't think, and I said this when we watched that episode, I don't think they should just let that whole opening scene play entirely, and then go to the opening credits, and then go to the show. Because when you're jumping back and forth, you're like, is someone remembering this? Yeah. And you go, well, Rob, it's different. The problem is when Obi-Wan's seeing things, it's from his perspective. When it just cuts to another film, that's Obi-Wan remembering it. When he's under the rocks, he just cuts to other footage that we already saw in the series. Well, it's him remembering. So this time when it just cuts, and sometimes it cuts to Obi, sometimes it cuts to Vader, it's just hard. Why would they have this shared event that had nothing to do with the last moment that they, like people tend to remember the first and last times. Think about how many times you thought back to someone you knew in high school or college that you don't talk to anymore. You tend to think about the first, the last, or the really, really best time you ever had together. And that couldn't have been the best time. That wasn't them going to Disneyland that day. It may have been the Rathtars moment. Like seeing the Rathtars moment from Rogue Planet would have been the fucking.
Well, it is. It
was in the book, by the way. It's in the book.
We can't take it too. We can't take it too seriously either, because like Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't see little Anakin flying in the Naboo starfighter. So do we go back and stuff like that? So, and that was like part of his dream.
That's what was weird. Well, maybe he was watching the footage in that ship. You know what I mean? While he's playing Game Boy. He just had it on, feet up on the dashboard, didn't give a shit.
Maybe they're both dreaming that. I don't think that makes sense either. But yeah. So
when they're in it's a dyad. No, I'm talking about when.
It's not a dyad.
When they're in the fucking elevator in Attack of the Clones, and they said those two, was it Gundarks or Wrath? What the fuck?
Gundarks.
Gundarks.
Yeah. Nest of Gundarks.
They show the nest of Gundarks in Rogue Planet.
Yeah.
So like that Gundarks. Look, if I'm pulling from a canon, right?
No, that isn't canon. In canon, that actually happens in the Clone Wars. They show it.
Okay. They redid it, huh?
Oh yeah, Rogue Planet. George Lucas was like, "Fucking, what are these plants? I smoke plants." And he threw the script, he threw the text down on the floor. And the
All
pages
right.
went
Well,
everywhere.
it should have. That's what I'm saying. If it's a shared memory, it should have been something so strong. That's just such a minute little lesson that it's like just let the whole scene play out and then play the episode. You know,
Well,
like
that's why I think. But anyways, that's why I think they put Palpatine at the end, because this juxtaposition between the two men just kept growing between both of them throughout the series. And I think when you have him meeting up with Qui-Gon, then you're like, well, what's Vader's? You know, so where does it rhyme? But one thing, I don't know this. This is speculation on my part. But one thing I want to throw out there is, what if we have some little Palpatine stuff in season 3 of The Mandalorian, because we've seen Praetorian guard like costumes, and the First Order is starting to rise during this stuff. We're supposed to get some of that backstory stuff. What if Ian was actually working on Mandalorian 3 and they were able to film this little moment for Obi-Wan during that, and that's the connection. And he did remind me a little bit more of the episode 9 one. I'm just going to throw that out there. So that's speculation, but you know, let's just kind of, you know, let's consider it. I say. The one thing I will say, Vader's lair is like, it's a dyad rock. Like the like, I think two Jedi just having like a connection isn't necessarily like a dyad. And like when we do see the dyad stuff between Rey and Finn, they're like walking over space and time and shit like that. So Obi-Wan Kenobi and him, I don't believe would be a dyad. They're just really, you know, they're just like brothers or father and son or whatever, you know, family, lovers, I don't know, whatever. And so at the end of the day, you end up with
some walk by night.
well, that's what's
walk by day. It's the moon of Mustafar lighting, right? Moon of Mustafar lighting.
what I find like fascinating about like how they have grown their friendship, relationship, or whatever you want to call it, frenemies, whatever the hell they are now, is that it like Jedi aren't supposed to have attachment as like one of the things, but these two guys are clearly attached. And it's weird because in a weird way, it reinforces that concept even further about why attachments are, you shouldn't have them. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be a thing for a Jedi, that you should try to transcend it. But both of them can't. It's not really in that story until he does transcend his attachment to Darth Vader or Anakin and lets him go when he says his friend is truly dead, that he's able to kind of like become the guy he needs to be, where he does see Qui-Gon. Originally he saw Qui-Gon before, remember, now that doesn't happen. So now he doesn't see Qui-Gon until after.
And all Obi-Wan has left now is a folded piece of like magazine from Jedi Bop, where it's just Anakin's head, right? And he just keeps that nice and folded and tucked in his pocket. And he gets to open it up and look back at his buddy. Yeah, Jedi Bop magazine. Do you think
they're do you think they're ever just like Obi-Wan like and Qui-Gon are like walking in the desert, he's like on the EOP and Qui-Gon's next to him? You think he just ever goes, "Hey, remember Ayla Secura?" And he's like, yeah. And that's it. And they just keep walking because you know, you don't even need to say it. There's like, yeah.
She's blue. I like how everyone's like, I hate blue aliens unless they have tentacles or boobs in our Star Wars universe, right? They got tentacles on their heads and honestly, lightsabers. Then I love blue aliens, right?
I was never actually the tentacle thing always pretty much creeped me out until we saw the Book of Boba Fett with Flashdance, and I was like, oh.
Now you get what George got. Now you get it. It's just ahead of the curve, guys.
Remember what they actually did like an art book with like nude Twi'leks that Lucas like signed off on. Remember, there was like I was pretty surprised. I thought it was cool though. It wasn't like it was, you know, pornographic or anything.
Well, in that interview he did with James Cameron was talking about the only note he got from George Lucas was to add tentacles to the Na'vi's heads, but he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
Oh, what? I skipped a comment. Okay, I wanted to. This is hey Derek. Thanks for being a new subscriber, dude, and hanging out with us. Hey guys, new subscriber here, Star Wars fans in 77. Wish there was a post-credit scene. Could have been awesome seeing Cad Bane seeing the Wanda poster for Obi-Wan, or Maul learning is alive.
By the way, Reinholtz would be an excellent Ghostbusters name. Like just imagine that Reinholtz on the jersey, the little Was it a
Yeah.
jersey? What are they wearing? That little jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Reynolds, Stance,
Yeah.
Vankman, right?
Cover. They're called coveralls.
Egon.
Yeah, coveralls.
Wait, no,
Maybe.
Egon. What is fucking? God damn it! I'm
Um,
brain farting on names.
I heard
Reinholds.
I heard from Jesse yesterday, was working a lot, and he was like he would like sent me a video from work, and it looked like he was working in the place where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader first fight, like pretty much. And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, yeah, this is like this crazy sand they crushed down in China to make phone screens, like the glass for phone screens.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, don't fight somebody there.
That's what
But-
caused inflation. Was the volume.
The volume, but
Yeah, I'm saying there was no inflation before the volume. Look at it now.
it's true. It's true.
Right? Fan man.
Bitters like, yo, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. King Chris, I'll hold the king. Says, yo, what's happened? Yo, how's it going, Chris?
The
Thanks for
king
hanging out
of
with us as
Chris's?
always. Yeah.
Does he hang out with the king of cartoons? Because I want to speak to that guy. I'm a big fan of the king of cartoons.
Maria is correct. The First Order is the First Order. They are the Amaxine Warriors. That's true. That's true. I'm curious to see how Mando 3.
What are
Mando-
Maxine Warriors?
Oh man, it's been a while. This was like I read this stuff like 2015 now, but you could Wikipedia it. But basically, they're kind of people who get co-opted into being one of the foundations of the First Order, like military force, I want to say. And but I think that that story is going to be even bigger now because we have people like Moff Gideon and stuff. And then we also have Thrawn coming up and coming back potentially, supposedly. And so when we have all of that stuff together, it's like, I think that story is going to not decanonized, so to speak, but I think it's going to be revised. So I'm curious to see if we see all of these factions come together and make the First Order, or, build it up, or are we going to have there being warring factions? Excuse me. Because when you get down to it, like, Moff Gideon, we don't totally know what his whole game plan is. Is his game plan to resurrect Palpatine, get Palpatine back in the game, so to speak, and then be like, I did it, and then now he's number one, if not even like a Sith apprentice kind of thing? Is that where he's trying to go with this, or is he just a warlord who's using it? Maybe he's even taking these people on a wild goose chase, trying to find stuff to resurrect Palpatine, doesn't believe they can do it, keeps them busy and keeps them in power, raiding, doing evil stuff.
Not for nothing, Jason, but isn't a wild goose chase essentially the plot to Top Gun Maverick? Like, aren't they all both searching for Goose, right? Isn't that really what we're talking about here?
Hey, and I am more convinced than ever that my ending to Top Gun Maverick was the better ending. They should have talked to me. But
Also, Maxine Warriors does sound like a failed 80s cartoon, like something that lasted one season.
Yeah,
right?
It sounds like a toy line I definitely bought 5 figures from, and it was mad. They never made any more.
It didn't come with a cool hologram. It didn't come with like shiny armor. It came with like the ability to get like naked, like the armor would pop off, right? So you could like put on like a naked body. You could dress your naked dude up with the. See, I'm inventing a stupid 80s action figure line, and then in the cartoon their armor pops off, right? Like it's a whole thing.
Maxine Warrior 6.
Now we know, Jason.
Warriors,
now we know what to make. Sorry,
so the Amaxine Warriors were supposedly a warrior people that dated back to the dawn of the Galactic Republic. Instead of using currency, the Amaxine Warriors traded weapons for goods and services. It was believed that at some point the warriors left the galaxy in search of another. Long after the Amaxine's disappearance, a paramilitary organization active during the New Republic era named themselves after the ancient warriors. And then
you can trade armor for goods and services, but not hand jobs.
But what you see right here is more of those like allusions to something being on the outside the galaxy, like Palpatine, Exegol kind of stuff. They were like dropping that kind of stuff the whole time. The Amaxine Warriors were first mentioned in Claudia Gray's novel Bloodline. So
I remember that book. I don't remember the Maxine Warriors. I was just hung up on the whole premise. I love the premise of it, which is I've said this before. The idea of the whole galaxy finding out that Luke and Leia were Vader's kids should have been the whole basis for the sequel trilogy. Like the big reveal that happens like like at the end of Act 1 or 2 or something that just breaks everything up. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it really would. I mean, if we finally found peace on Earth, you know what I mean? Like we all got along for like 20 years, and then you find out that the people who caused peace on Earth were like, Hitler's kids. You'd be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
like seriously. So the only thing with Bloodlines is that ending the battle. So I mean, it's like a cheap Disney Plus show, that battle. Like,
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
reading it. Like, I love her
I
writing, but she needs help with the battles. Like,
yeah, I like the political intrigue, if you will, and that the
yes.
battle stuff was just like that was just checkboxy stuff to me. It says that according to an old story told by Leia Organa's adoptive mother Bria Organa, the Amaxine warriors were purportedly a warrior people whose entire culture was based in warfare. Instead of currency, they traded weapons for goods and services. According to legend, the Amaxines refused to make peace with the Old Republic. Unable to defeat such a powerful foe, they departed the known galaxy for another one in search for another war to fight. Quitters. However, at some point in the ancient past, the Amaxine warriors encountered the Drengir, and they built a relay point for their hyperspace pods to land on an unknown world occupied by a sentient race and intended to make war on them. However, the Drengir fought back and were able to defeat and
I love some
them.
Star Trek, but that is seriously one of the lesser Star Trek names. That's some shit a Klingon would plop out in the middle of a Deep Space Nine episode,
It sounds like when you're really trying to go hard, like, oh, Drengir! By the time of the New Republic, the Amaxine warriors were believed to be extinct. So that is like what they are, and they were kind of like alluding to the idea that these people were going to be like the foundations of it. So they there could be a story where we have like eventually have Mandos going up against them, and then sort of
maybe,
you know what I mean, like ending up joining up with the First Order, and we see those forces like combine. I think that would be a good way to do it if they want to continue with it. It could also just be that fucking Bria just makes up a bunch of shit, Bria, she gets bored out over there in Alderaan, just starts making shit up, going on the internet, making up lies. That fucking Bria.
Yeah.
Arya says
it makes YouTube channels on that in Alderaan,
Arya says it makes more sense that he came straight from Andor because the Royal Guards are in Andor, and I can't think of anyone with those guards besides Palp. Masamita was a scoop that Star Wars Meg had, and he has them too because he's like essentially the vice president of the Emperor ship, if you will.
But what does the vice president really do, Jason?
I mean, well, when Palpatine says get him because he won't, make an election in his favor or something, you need those Royal Guards to help you. You know what I mean?
I guess
January 6th it's a Star Wars Day.
Can we make the day January 6th? Like
January
the day
6th.
They fucking I've never heard. Did you invent that? Did someone else invent it?
On the spot? You were here for
Son
Star
of
Wars
a
history.
fucking bitch! I
Star
love
Wars
that.
history.
Like no, sir, that is the day that we have to do January 6th, right? Because these motherfuckers, these fucking fascist piece of shits.
I think on January 6th is when Bait and Switch come back. I think we'll see Bait and Switch back on that day. Don't let us forget, you guys. Yeah. Lord Tasman, diet is a special thing, not just a forced connection. Yeah. I hope they have the strength to not just decide to like make a dyad story in every generation. Like they do say that there's like one every generation, or maybe there's one in a generation. I do think that would take a lot away from Rey and Kylo's story. And I think, in my opinion of where that one ended up, I don't think they should do anything to take anything away from any of that. I think that that's like the strength of that whole story is those two. So I'm hoping I hope that we don't see a dyad thing for a really long time. The only one I ever heard that I thought was like that was fun, but it's totally not that, is that Grogu and Anakin. And I was just like, that would be weird because like Grogu and Anakin are basically born around about the same time. They're doing this thing with Star Wars where they're making like Grogu and Anakin born at the same time, and then like Ezra, Luke, and Leia all and clearly Corran Horn all born at the same time. Like it's like a thing.
Core and Horn.
Mhm.
What did LucasArts 1994 shoehorn its way back into Star Wars canon? Core and Horn
not catch
late.
that? Did you miss that?
I know, but
he's
just
in
the
2
idea
episodes
that
of Kenobi. 2 episodes.
I know, but now it's like Luke, Grogu, Core and Horn. Like fucking no, you don't know. Fuck you. Dash Rendar is a much better character than Core and Horn.
You know what? No. Okay, but Core and Horn's not a Jedi, but
Dash Rendar became a Jedi.
Did he really?
Yes, in the Jedi Knight game. That's Dash Rendar.
Oh, give me a
oh no,
break.
wait, that's Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
My defense, they're the same fucking dude.
See?
So,
But no,
it's LucasArts Kevin Costner. It's basically for some reason Lucasfilm and LucasArts all felt Kevin Costner was just the default face in 1990 something.
but with how the story of Kenobi unfolded too, they could. I mean, Core and Horn is really like he is truly, if we want to be real about things, he has an EU backstory, so there's sort of a fan momentum there. But he's Broom Boy. He's Broom Boy, right? For the series. Oh, hey, Santa. How's it going?
Dash Reindeer.
Get out of here, Santa. Get out of here. Go. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks,
sometimes
John.
we gotta be firm with Santa sometimes.
Thanks, John.
No, but what I'm saying is that like Broom Boy was something that just they didn't do anything with it, but it was like there was massive potential possibility on the implication. And I think that he's if this was an RPG, he's Broom Boy +1 because he has a little bit of history behind him where people are kind of already interested in him. And then if the series is well done, we could potentially see like a Core and Horn kind of thing going forward about like his journey and then what happens with this guy meeting up with, like how does this guy find Luke Skywalker, or you know what I mean, and how are they going to
Broom Boy's
that
better
story?
than Core and Horn, bro. Like Broom Boy's moment is a Spielberg moment. It's the most Spielberg moment in all of Star Wars movies. Like,
yeah, but his name is like Tamari Dipley or some shit. Like
if his name wasn't saying on screen, it don't count. I don't give a shit what they fucking Tamari. Fuckers, you know that's the paste you put in Thai food, man. I use it. Like this motherfucker, Tamari paste. Like they're just literally just these fucking dudes. Like ever since Boba Fett, you know what I mean? Like hold on, my new ginger beard Godan. You know what I mean? It's the new fucking Jedi Master of the sequel trilogy.
It was amazing to see theories reacting to the suggestion that Vader was gay. You know, I'm gonna throw out that they had a bi thing going on at least. Wrinkling says, I think we won't see Qui-Gon in season 2, but Yoda. I think a lot of Qui-Gon will be off-camera mentionings. They could. Oh no.
Sorry, I just wanted you to know we was gonna call Ben Solo Zima originally, but we couldn't get the rights. I tried.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Zima Solo. Yeah.
He's messed it up. That was Kylo Ren.
Zima. Yeah, Ben Solo.
No, you wanted Kylo Zima. That's what you wanted his name to be.
Oh no, that sounds stupid. Zima. His original first name was because she loves Zimas more than Obi-Wan, but they just couldn't do it, so they went to her second favorite thing, which was Ben Kenobi.
I remember there being a commercial for Zima, and it was like Zima from Zanzibar. I don't know why it said that, but I only knew Zanzibar as Freddie Mercury's like it's where his family was from. So I was like, that's where Freddie Mercury's from. Now it's the only reason why I remember it.
Well, it's why you're never gonna get the Leia tween show, because it's her like discovering how she can sneak Zimas into her room and just get drunk all fucking night.
Leia fucking partied, yeah, for sure,
for real. You know,
oh yeah.
She did, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they're never showing that, so they're gonna skip them years.
Yeah. I was thinking about her today, about the I was like, I wonder if they will bring Vivian Lyra Blair back, and if she's gonna want to be back, because you know when we think back to like our childhoods, ton of kid actors that had like really big roles that were really good in them, just were like, I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't want to do it, and just kind of like just didn't do anything because they just didn't want to. You know, like that kid from Neverending Story. There's a couple other ones.
But kids don't always age into the role they were cat, right? Like
sure. Oh, for
Like
sure.
as Jake Lloyd gets older, he doesn't look like he's Mark Hamill's dad. You
Yeah.
know, like so
Yeah.
it all sort of has its time and place at a certain age. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, yeah, who knows? I mean, she does look like she's probably gonna grow up though to have. I'm gonna say she could probably play Carrie until 14, probably pretty for sure if they wanted to make it happen though. Maybe because she's already 10 years old, but she looks like she's 7 or 8. Like she really looks like she's like my daughter's age, you know?
but then, thanks to Spotify, she discovers 90s hip hop and gets that Kid and Play haircut, and they can't get her to not take it off, right?
Turns out she was hanging out with O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s family, and she learned what a gangster she was.
And she buzzed corn horn into the back of her head. Remember they used to buzz the bat signal?
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. And the Ghostbusters fucking shit in the back of their head.
Yeah.
Why did that go away?
It should come back. I mean, honestly,
back.
if one of you has a little Grogu on the back of your head, send it to us because we want to throw you. We want to make you the best friend of the day.
Yeah.
But,
best friend of the day.
Ayla, I believe it was Ayla Secura's name was Amy Allen. Is that correct? I think that's correct. And she was like George Lucas's assistant, and he was like, "You should be in Star Wars," and then she was. Miss Sunflower says Star Wars channel just uploaded something. What was it, Miss Sunflower?
Hey, finally, they did it.
Sunflower.
Hey, good for them. They did it.
You're holding me in suspense here. What was it?
No, they just learned how to do that. Like,
No, she's just like,
it's not often.
Yeah. No, they just, just did it. They're like, they got a new like Boba Fett Monopoly games finally coming out or something. But,
oh, sorry. To be fair, Jason, I wouldn't give him the password to that channel for like the last several years. So they finally figured out my password. You know what it was?
What's that, George? Password 123. It's password 123, isn't it?
No, it's THX11. I can't let him go, Jason. He'll give that out. He uses his password on everything. So if I let him put that out there, you're going to be able to get into everything.
Pro tip to Star Wars fans: if you go to Star Wars Celebration, do not have your ATM password as 1138. It will not work out well for you if you lose your card. I mean, it won't. I've heard the story many times. Don't do it. We don't do that. Okay.
Go people deeper. Really do this? Like, I believe this.
Yeah.
Fucking losers.
Okay. Maria bothered to.
Lovely fans. My bad.
Maria said, Amaxian warriors are a secret sect that Leia Organa and Racem Casterfo fight against. Their leader ends up bombing the Senate right before Leia is outed as Darth Vader's daughter. So I think that's exactly what you're completely right. When we put everything together with that lore stuff and all this, I think now we know, and we are ready to talk about Amaxian warriors when it comes back up, and Maria calls us on it. Thank you, Maria, for the help.
Also, Caterfoe is a horrible last name. Ralsum's a good Star Wars name.
I think it wasn't Cater. I think it was Casterfoe. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like.
Yeah,
Casterfoe.
I don't know. I kind of like it. I don't know. Anyways,
Ralsum's good though.
Darth Grogu says Jar Jar in Kenobi season 2 needs to happen. Ewan has said as much. Ewan has said maybe we get Almond back. Like that's what he suggested one time.
He can be the drunken master, the old Police Story 3. The thing though is you cannot do Jackie Chan stuff in the volume, man. Like you need like a set to play off shit. Like you imagine they forget they're in a volume and they push kick off the fucking volume and just put their foot through an LCD.
like I was saying, they did test using the 5G uploading and rendering stuff, and they were able to like render like a Jar Jar Binks style character live on like an SNL set. Like I said, today Jar Jar Binks could host SNL. Like they could do that if they wanted to. It's possible. And so with that right there, with that alone, they could literally be getting stuff back like right away. But he could play the fool and be leading the he could be in the path, helping people get to him. People think he's just a stupid fucking idiot, but he plays stupid and then gets them around.
Well, the cool part though, Jason, is they can use the model from 1999, them old ass textures and everything, and just say they de-aged him. Jar Jar, so they don't have the new 4K textures or nothing. They can just use that old shit. Yeah, no, we de-aged Jar Jar, so you all complain. So now he looks just like he did in 1999. Yeah, That's why they don't let me go on stage and answer questions, because I'm the guy that sets everyone off. You fucking just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
I mean, we're still hoping that old Temuri Blag comes back too. I'm just kidding. But where is so the video is called Obi-Wan cast chat about Obi-Wan and Reva's intentions. And so yeah, I don't know if we might get taken down if we play it, so I'm not sure what that one has. So but it's, if we'll check it out and we'll pull any clips from it if it's worth talking about tomorrow. Yeah, but thank you for the heads up, Miss Sunflower.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna guess if them intentions weren't clear in the series, what's the point? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think well, a couple of things is, I talked to some cats involved, and our readings were correct. Like the reading of Reva and where what she was about and how she ends up and stuff like that was all correct. So we don't really need it, but I think it's just to make sure. I think it's just to clear up any misconceptions that people may have. Sometimes they are super clear in the narratives of Star Wars stories, and the fans just go wild because of the first thing they heard dominates everything they hear after that, and they can't let go of an idea. So it might just be a little bit of like, I wouldn't call it damage control, but just try to make sure everybody's on the same page kind of stuff. Tyrant says that's what half the games during the 2010s had as the backdrop conflict, the battle of rare earth materials. Yeah, that battle of that resources thing was really big, and it gave us a whole generation of people buying bottles of soup.
Your mic's cutting out.
Oh no.
Oh, little interference.
Oh no.
Invasion.
Come on,
I'm gonna
CO.
make that fucking CO bibble. So anytime that happens now, I can just cut to CO. It'll be like invasion.
Yeah.
Invasion.
And then Lord Tasman says, Maria, Bloodline is so good. Yeah, in my opinion, they should take these new classics is what I'll call them, books like Bloodline and Lost Stars, and they should immediately make them animated short feature films or whatever. I wouldn't mind if they were a series, but I don't necessarily think doing like 6-part Obi-Wan Kenobi style thing is where they're going to want to spend their resources when they've already like done the book and stuff like that. But we need those animated movies. Like it's such a quality animated movies, like Rob mentioned, the trailer for Jedi Survivor, like of that quality. Yeah. They should get on that. And I'm hoping when we get something from a droid story.
Oh no.
I'm hoping I'm hoping it. Well, no. A droid story is using ILM XLab technology with ILM to make an animated film. So I don't think you get ILM to make fucking blue, Pac-Man looking ghosts. Do you know what I mean? Like that doesn't make
Casper.
Sense. Yeah, Casper looked good back then.
Huh?
Casper looked good back then.
Yeah, but they haven't upgraded since. They're just going to be Casper again.
No, but sorry,
I'm being a dick. But
no, but
I know it'll probably look cool. The XLM lab, they did the Immortal stuff, right? So they're on the cutting edge of doing cool shit,
Yeah.
So,
but like Bloodline,
it's just called Droid Story. So when you say Droid Story, it's just, man, anytime you invoke droids, I get real nervous,
Yeah. Well, so. They do, when you get down to it, you hear droids, it evokes a nervousness feeling, disgust, if you will. But they own the fucking word. That's a valuable word. So I think rehabilitating that word, probably a good thing. But they also did release droids on Disney Plus, so they're not helping. Chris Breezy says, I love Kenobi's Mythos look. Me too. That costume, it was nice seeing it in live action. It was really nice. And you were asking,
Chris is gonna be wearing those goggles all the fucking time, dude.
He's gonna go down to the dollar store, get some goggles and be wearing them.
It's gonna be hanging around his neck the whole.
He's gonna look like Seth Green and Can't Hardly Wait though, instead of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh man, my honeys! Like I fucking love him in that movie, right? Because he played. He was Allison Hannigan's date in like My Stepmother's an Alien, right? Like he had that brief cameo there.
Okay.
And then he goes into Buffy, and then he comes into Can't Hardly Wait as the biggest like to use the term early 2000s term wigger, right? Like the white rapper, right? That fucking term. But that's why, because there was a group of fucking dudes running around there having listened to hip hop, acting like that asshole in that fucking movie, you know?
There were dudes in my high school who called themselves that, and were like,
yeah, like I was like, you probably shouldn't be owning that.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy that film.
That
that film is a giant Buffy reunion, and it was done before season 5. And so if you look, like Amber Benson, who plays Willow's girl, I'm forgetting her character's name. She's in there, and they have these 3 nerds that literally they stole those nerds for the evil nerds in Buffy season 5 or 6. Sorry, season 6, right?
Yeah.
Like, because they're even like sitting around there. It's got the dude from Hook, right? The kid from Hook, he's in there. And they're like got Boba Fett figures and shit, and like they're reenacting their plan with action figures. They stole all that shit and put it in Buffy. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Never saw Buffy. Mark says, I searched up Star Wars and there were a ton of rants about how Kenobi broke canon uploaded in the last 12 hours. Fuck me. So what I'm going to rephrase what Mark said. Mark searched up Star Wars and there are a ton of people who don't know what canon means, who are deciding that their idea of canon was violated in the last 12 hours. Yeah, it's all stupid. It's all stupid. It just is. I mean,
if I comment, I give them a spot on the Raw bingo card, Jason. So I can't. I'm blocking. Right? What was that? Remember that tic-tac-toe show, but they couldn't call it tic-tac-toe because they wanted to trademark it. But it was tic-tac-toe, right? Yeah. Okay. But I'm blocking, or Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares.
I'm blocking it. You're not gonna get that one today, folks.
I like the uncle from Bewitched. Maria says it is, and to be honest, that kind of stuff is the kind of stuff I love to see on Disney Plus. A remake of that novel. It explains so much. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that where I think if they were, just doing outside the box stuff with it. I mean, the whole motion comic thing like never really, became like a thing that worked out or whatever. So like I don't think they should go there, but I do think animated films, or a miniseries at the same time. Like some of the stuff could be a miniseries, but like with like Leia, they'd have to like get somebody else to play Leia, and at that time, or they'd have to get weird with the CGIing of Leia, and it would probably be like very strange. So that's why I just tend to go like animated for that one. I also think Lost Stars, I think is such just it's a simple classic story, and it would work in any format. If it was a film, if it was an animated thing aimed at tweens, it would work. It doesn't matter where they do it, and I think everybody would like it anyways, whichever format they did it in. So on one hand, I'm glad that there's something like as special as Lost Stars as a book, and that like it elevates the idea of Star Wars books. And I do think to some extent, if they make it into a live action or on screen, it's sort of like the books kind of lose a little something. But at the same time, I think they should do it.
Yeah, I like to put the one I'll put on at night. If I want to really get along with the wife, want to be in a good mood. The double feature is Empire Records and Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah,
I'm never not getting laid if I put that on. Like if I manage to complete both those films, I'm good to go.
My ex never liked it when I would go, Amanda. Anyways, the comic binge.
Plus, it also plays as a pseudo sequel to Empire Records because of Ethan Embry.
Yeah.
Although, I forgot he was the kid in Dutch because he had a different name.
Kid in Dutch.
Yeah. By the way, Dutch was another movie that needed a rewrite in the script. Like it just needed another pass.
I liked it though when it came out. I liked it.
I hear you, but there's a lot of holes. But the one that gets me the most is when
there's a lot of holes.
The black family gives them a ride and then they don't let them in for dinner. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Come on, really? At least have them say, no, we're going to go see our family. They can do that.
That's probably just Ed Harris, man. That's probably just Ed Harris. Harris like, yeah, of course.
Ed Harris.
No. Ed O'Neill.
Ed Harris would have been Ed Harris would have just strangled that kid to death.
Yeah. He'd be like this. Listen to me. We're gonna shut the fuck up.
That fireworks scene is too long, bro. It goes. It will not.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it like in 15 years. So I just kind of remembering.
But it does have. What's her face? Pee-wee's girlfriend, man. She was better off dead. right? She was singing a song. What's her? She was the voice actress. I'm forgetting her name.
Okay, so. I don't know. Comic Binge says
E.G. Daily.
Okay. P Thug says, if you've been on the internet for long enough, you will know him as the man called P Thug. When Kenobi says he wishes he could tell her more about her birth parents, and she looks over to the Organist and says, "It's okay, you don't have to destroy me." Yeah, I believe like Rob was adopted, and I think P Thug has adopted himself. He has adopted a child himself. Nice, right? And I think that was a very George Lucas thing too, like to like do. I think that's what George would have done, because George's kids were adopted too, and I think he has a biological child now, but he raised 3 adoptive children from the 80s into the 90s, or probably still is raising them. It's probably like still their dad or whatever. And I'm not saying that, but
right. And if I could have been
nice.
there in the writing room, I would have suggested diving deeper into her lack of identity or confusion of identity.
How can you? I thought about that, dude, and it's like that is, I think the big question was because she's only like 9 or 10. And so like there is sort of like a depth you can go, but maybe I wasn't adopted, so maybe I'm misspeaking, but I feel like they went pretty deep for a 10-year-old. But what they did close down was the possibilities of when she does get a bit more mature and is more complicated about being able to like deal with it then. But I love the moment, so ultimately I wouldn't change it, for anything. But what do you think? Do you think at her age they could have went deeper on it? Like, do you think that
that's the age I got adopted, Jays?
Yeah,
it took 2 years. No, it's not like an overnight thing.
Of course,
so, yeah. I think the thing that, like, she has a lot of intuitions that don't fit in with Alderaanians. Like, she likes weapons and hiding, and everyone there seems to be fairly truthful. Like, Bail's doing the one thing she can relate to, which is keeping a secret, right? Like, her parents are sort of doing that, but she's not able to like role play because of her little Force bits. And so like I just think like, not in this series. In a shorter series, you hit harder with the kids. You have them be meaner to her, right? If it were a movie, to hit it harder. In a longer series, you spend more time with her dealing with going about her parents' lives a little bit more and Alderaan ship before the inciting incident, which is really when she gets abducted, and that puts everything else into play. Like, her getting abducted forces Kenobi off planet and everything else. So it's just that, because in that scene where she gets to learn more about her parents, like, it is the thing. Like, when Luke is talking about, did you know my parents? You knew my parents. I mean, I never knew my biological father, and then, and so that was always a thing for me. Like, what was this cat like? Like anyone else, he was a bit of, like any other dad, he was a bit of an asshole, but he liked Star Wars. Like, it's really weird, But I just think like there's more there, and to be had one way or the other. It's just the version you have sort of, I don't know if it comes. I'm always careful when it comes to like the kid stuff, because I feel like whoever's writing it really needs to get into, everything's very emotional for kids at that age. Everything's very extreme, right? You don't get the subtleties. And when kids are showing subtlety, like, well, it's kind of here and it's kind of there, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it's one way or the other. That's why I think the way the kids act in Goonies, where they're crying or yelling, is, or they're quiet. Like, they don't say anything, they're yelling or they're crying. That's basically it. Like, it's just a rage of fucking emotions one way or the other. But she's super, like, with them kids, man, she should have just reached out and been like, motherfucker, start punching the shit out of them and stuff. But they're a peaceful planet. That's why it was weird when she gets the gun holster. Can't have a gun because it's a peaceful planet. But her mom going, I like it. I don't know. Like, if they have no weapon. Leia says they don't have any weapons. Right? If you walk around with the empty gun holster, are you basically saying like, I would have a weapon? Is that like a triggering thing for some?
No. They actually. I think the guys did have blasters. I think when she says like we don't even have any weapons, I think she means like they don't have like a true military, like a military force. I could be wrong about that. I thought the guys like walking behind had blasters. Like don't they get into a little fight and shoot the Alderaanian guy when they steal Leia?
You watched it 8 times. You can't remember? Like
I
I watched it the
that
once.
that wasn't
Okay.
that wasn't
All
where,
right.
my head was when I was watching it.
I'm being
But
yeah.
no, and like no, but I love that moment too. Old man Pete Doug, I'm with you. And the one thing that I would the only thing I would have maybe like, and I'm just to be critical, just to like, explore like what could they have done better. I would have probably have given Leia a little bit more anger, and like had her, sock her cousin in the dick for what he said, and then to have had Kenobi help her get over the anger issue throughout the story. Like that's one of the things I would have done, because like when you see like I get the sense Carrie
She
Fisher
starts a
was pretty
she
angry.
starts a paramilitary organization after the Empire falls.
Mhm.
So in my mind, she has more of her father's inclination to fight. And Luke, look, he's out there just playing with his fucking Legos in the sand all day, pretending to be a pod racer. He's more like his mom. He's just chill, right?
Yeah.
Right? He goes to be a warrior, but it's not his natural state. His natural state is to just whine about shit and fucking play video games. Like,
Well, the big critique that I have seen, I don't know if it's a big critique, but it's one that they're trying to get going, those guys, is that Leia, he's like, like at the end, he like builds Leia up and he's like, you're going to be a powerful fighter someday and all this stuff. And then you get Luke and he's like, let's just let him be a boy. And it's just like, they're trying to make that into like a thing about like, that's Lucasfilm just tries to push women, and they're just like, let the boy just be a boy. It's so, I fucking hate this and stuff. And it's just like, he becomes Luke Skywalker. Pay attention. Like, they know this. And what they're doing in that moment is they're having Obi-Wan Kenobi not see that she has that potential. He does not doing the midichlorian test on her. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have Qui-Gon's little lady shaver to transmit it to a lab and get it done. So he's having to go, as Owen says, is he showing? And Leia doesn't do any of that in front of him. She does it through her intuition. She does it like with her cousin when she reads her cousin. I've had it confirmed to me that her reading of her cousin was intuition via her force power. That is what that was supposed to be. That was the intent. And so Kenobi can't see that in Leia, or it doesn't make any sense that he doesn't just put the little Padawan braid on her right there, cut that other thing off, and take her on the road with him.
Well, it's sort of
Training.
why I would have ignored her intuition altogether thing and just have her not exert anything.
But they still have to, though, because she becomes a Jedi. Like, she becomes Luke's.
Yeah, I figure like Luke just fucking dealt with that in some.
Yeah,
deal with that. Deal with that in some other story, though. Like, you don't have to deal with that here.
Well, no, but they dealt with it not in the moments.
The fact that they have to clarify it to folks means it's not as clear as they would have liked it. It didn't come across. People are very conflicted. But I didn't look. I got it. I didn't think it was confusing. I'm letting you. A lot of people are confused.
It was not supposed to be on. It wasn't supposed to be overt. It was supposed to be subtle. It was to give the idea that she's these two things, and that her identity is always being pulled in these like two different ways, even maybe 3 ways, between like princess, warrior, princess, and then Jedi. Like, what's it going to be? And then eventually mother. And then we kind of see where, in a weird way, all of those things seem to maybe, I wouldn't say break her as in she's like a shell of a woman after Return of the Jedi, but it does lead to the whole thing falling apart later on, and eventually it does. But yeah, not a fan of Darth Jar Jar, but Jar Jar for season 2, I am a fan of. I think they should definitely do it.
Darth Jar Jar.
I would love it.
One of the lamest theories I've ever heard come across for Star Wars, by the way, man.
Yeah.
I get it. Everyone likes to read into like, look at that scene there. And that scene, look at that. They're just staring and they make it all it's a conspiracy.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, Rob. Darth Jar Jar is the best example to use about how somebody could fall down a conspiracy rabbit hole in real life, because there are people who think this makes sense in Star Wars. And it's just like, it's just none of it's evidence, but it's people who do not know how to evaluate actual evidence who see that. And it's circumstantial.
See, people don't know, Jay's. I gotta do the voice for this. This is too good. Hold on. I'm setting this one up. So it's like, yeah. See, people don't know that he took on the mantle of Darth Jar Jar on January the 6th.
It happened. It happened.
Yeah, it happened. That was the day.
Ring King, great video game, by the way, if you like afros, boxing. I don't think it's it seems fair Kenobi can get a season 2, but Book of Boba can't. I like both kind of equally. And what I would probably throw out there is that for the most part, I don't know if we would get a Boba season 2, but I wouldn't feel like that stuff is dead if they don't do it. I think if Boba doesn't get a season 2, it will just end up being a part of that like Mando universe kind of stuff. And so I think that the story with Boba, I don't think it's over. I don't think anyone was dissatisfied with Morrison's work. I think they all love that guy. And so I think that they would want to work with him again. I think that we'll get something with them.
I would just hope, Jason, that whatever they decide to do, they just learn from whatever did and didn't, that they felt did and didn't work. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say they had to learn what Rob thought didn't work. Like I'm the fucking dude got it all figured out. Mm-hmm. But they have to have an internal critiquing process. They have to have every project I've ever worked on, no matter how well received it was, everyone's like, all right, this we could fucking do better. That we're tossing out. And if you don't, they have to have that internal process.
Yeah.
So, and if people go, I didn't like it. Well, a lot of people didn't like Star Trek the motion picture. And, some people thought about that shit and put together the Wrath of Khan, which if you look at the structure for Wrath of Khan, it's exactly the same premise as Star Trek the motion picture. Kirk is fucking going to retire. It's getting kind of old. It's literally like John Roca actually summarized it once better. It's like getting a second chance at a pilot. Because I guess in Star Trek, they got a second chance at the pilot, right? Read it and kind of did it better. Star Trek choose like the second chance. And I look at, you can take what did and didn't kind of work about Boba Fett and make an action-packed space adventure that also shows maybe a mystery when he was younger, right? And pair the two stories together and get yourself a heck of a story. But if all they want to do is turn it into like an episode of Full House featuring these plucky warriors out in the desert, then then please don't.
Yeah,
save us.
I would love for somebody to do a Star Wars television show and pull on that like style from Wrath of Khan and Thunderdome, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, to like really
when
pull on the
Han Solo bit.
And
they remember Thunderdome, they steal the Han Solo bit from the Death Star.
Yeah. And but to like take all of that stuff and then like sort of Star Warsy it up and up design it, because it's all so awful, but I love it so much.
What do you mean being stuck on a planet with gladiator shit?
Like... I'm talking about the there's like a style to that time in filmmaking. Like if you look at the costumes that Khan and like the people like around his place have on,
about like all the warriors have.
It's
that
like
sort of
future barbarian kind of thing. I don't know I don't know how.
But it has that 80s hair. And
it's 1983, 84, like all fucking.
Only Taika could pull that one off.
Taika could do it. Taika
or the Stranger Things crew. But I don't see how Sean Levy and all them dudes and the Duffer Brothers go from Stranger Things to working in a box with Star Wars. Right?
I love Stranger Things. I don't see anything in Stranger Things that makes me think they would be perfect for Star Wars.
I see a crew that knows how to iterate and get the most out of their actors, and nailed the tone of what they're doing.
Yeah,
and make you wonder, how are they going to survive this? They legitimately can't survive this, and somehow they do. I don't care if you care about the story or the characters or whatever.
No, I love Stranger Things for the record.
The Game of Thrones guys did not know how to learn from their past mistakes. They doubled down on it, and that was the one thing. Like, as much as I thought that last battle in Game of Thrones season 8 or whatever the fuck it was, when the the mountain and his brother fought on the stairs with the fire going. I was like, that's how I sort of imagined the Obi-Wan Kenobi fight being, you know, back in the 80s when, you know, before Kung Fu entered the scene in terms of the sabers and shit.
Right.
And but anytime anyone brought up anything to them, they're like, that's how we do it. We know the best. And I don't know if I want a crew that learns, man. You know, because as much I like all the seasons of Stranger Things, but I get some people don't. I get some people don't, but you can't look at season 4 and go, they didn't learn shit. They doubled down. They definitely learned from what was and wasn't working for the majority of their audience.
Yeah, no, they see. Here's the thing I would find fascinating about that, and obviously we'd have to look back on it, right? The Stranger Things people, the Duffer Brothers, they go and they like do this show, and no one has any expectations of it, and people are like, "What happened to was it Barbara or whatever?"
Barb.
Barb. Yeah, there's just like these like things, you know, but they're like, they could tell they have like kind of a good community going, and the show's like building, and then they're like into it, right? When you come into the Star Wars one, it's disgusting. And so much of it is fucking just gross.
Yeah. Every fandom that's been around for 30 years is fairly disgusting if you hang out with the hardcores. And I had to learn this watching Saturday Night Live in the 80s when William Shatner told all them Star Trek fans to get a life.
but that's what I would be curious about is if they ever get to do something, or if they ever do delve into Star Wars, if that relationship was super important to the show being good, and how are they able to know who you listen to, who is the rational voice? Because I've seen Lucasfilm fall in to the most irrational of fans in the fucking world. You know what I mean? People who are like masturbating to cartoon characters and Rebels and shit, and they're just like, oh my god, if so and so likes, it's just like, whoa, you went down to Crazy Town, you don't know it.
Whatever process they have for doing it, much like Vince Gilligan and them, like the crews change. It's not the same 4 people in a room. You know, every season there's different people, there's different writers, people come in and out. But at the top, they seem to have a process that over time generates a pretty satisfying fucking experience, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just, I think what you see sometimes when they bring on talent, I feel like they're looking to Lucasfilm to give them the answers, and I think Favreau's the kind of guy that knows how to make those decisions because he's been a fucking director for how long, right? Like he knows how to make fucking concerted decisions and have a vision and pitch it and get the shit done. But like if you ever read into the making of Cowboys and Aliens, there was a strong fight on the production level between Brian Lazar, was it Brian? Ron Howard's fucking dude, that other guy.
Okay.
That guy and Spielberg and all the people behind the scenes had a disagreement on what the tone of that whole thing should be from the beginning, from the very beginning. Right. And so like, that's the thing. Like these folks seem to know what they're doing. Now, but when the minute you put them in a licensed property, then they have rules. Right? Like, we can't do this because that would break this, or we can't do that because our audience. I never want to hear what you can't do. What you should always side on is what is best for this story, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, sometimes what's best for this story is like less people. Sometimes it's too many people, you know? I don't know, man. There's Sean Levy, dude. That dude, that dude made the fucking Night at the Museum movies. I can't stand any one of those fucking things. Like literally, I'd rather it's right up there with Dirty Dancing 2 and Diego Luna. As much as I love Diego Luna, Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights, my friend.
Hey, but Diego Luna needed to eat too. You know,
the Forbidden Dance. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Weed does not by itself. Is what I always say.
My wife had that DVD when we first met, and I got her. I was like, we gotta change.
Did you know that was actually written for Natalie Portman, and Natalie Portman's people developed that was supposed to be her in Dirty Dancing 2, and then finally by the end of it, she pulled out because it wasn't coming together.
She pulled out.
Yeah. King Chris is making me very jealous right now. He says, I partied with the king of cartoons a few times. Pee-wee's Playhouse parties are a thing of legend. What the fuck are you talking about? There's Pee-wee's Playhouse parties? Why has nobody
One
told
of
me
my
about this?
conspiracy theories I used to share. I used to make up easily, like, hard to disprove conspiracy theories about useless shit when I was a kid. So lies, just lies. But what I would tell was that they stole the King of Cartoons phrase for Cookie Crisp because he goes, "I'm the King of Cartoons," and I go, "Cookie Crisp." They stole that. They
They
took it
stole
right
that.
from, and he
It's
sued.
like
And he's King of Cartoons
sued
sued
him.
Cookie
He
Crisp,
sued him.
and
He
they would
sued
just
him.
look at me like, "Oh, they don't know." Okay,
Yeah.
who cares? But
He sued him though. He sued him.
yeah, he did. He won. They had to stop
Um,
doing it. They don't do it anymore.
that reminds me of that character from Kids in the Hall who just who talks too much. You know, the kid who just like, oh hey,
Yeah.
you know that.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh hey, yeah." When he walks in with the hat, like the butcher shop, and he's like, "My mom makes fucking meat. You know, how much would a brain weigh if you sold?"
Oh, if you have your Jason Willow bingo card out, here's with one. I went and saw Pee Wee live when he came back and he did a show in L.A. and
Right.
it was really cool. Before they played all kinds of good music that I liked, and I was like, man, these people are as cool as they always thought they would be, you know. And
Right.
but what's his name? Kevin Pollock. He was there, and
Yeah.
I talked to him for a few seconds, you know, like just like pleasantries was nice, you know. And then after I'm like walking away, I'm like, he was a fucking brownie in Willow. I could talk to him about Willow, man. And then I realized I fucked up. I fucked up. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Johnny.
Dingleberries or elderberries or whatever.
Knights of Ren, stand by. Is what he probably said.
Oh.
Aunt
And the Knights of Ren, yeah, they didn't do shit, did they? Just act. No, they're in better shape though than the Prep. Most of the guys are tubby pieces of shit. Mule Team 6.
We should infiltrate them. I'm kidding. Darren says Aunt Beru could single-handedly take down the Knights of Ren. I kind of buy it. Yeah. I mean,
I really thought she was the standout of that episode, man. Like
she brought
that was
it,
the
dude.
one I was nervous. I'm like, I've never seen this actress in anything other than that role, and they didn't give her shit to do in it, you know. So like, I was afraid they were just gonna have her stand back there and go, "Oh, and save us," like, you know. But
like what I found interesting was like when I had heard about like that when that stuff was being filmed, they were like, yeah, Reva like smacks her, you know, she like goes down. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And like we went on to like the important part, you know, whatever. And like when you watch it though, like fucking Bruce like fucking clocks her, and then gets like hit down, you know, after. But I was like, yeah, they made it believable that Brew could survive in the elements out there, like on a homestead on Tatooine, and it didn't feel like she was like bringing out fucking judo from nowhere, and it felt ridiculous or something. It was just like, that's a tough broad, you know.
she started doing parkour and shit.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
it was done really
Right.
really well.
My favorite line of the whole thing was when he goes, "And Ben left," and she goes, "Yeah, who do we have to thank for that?" You know, like that's just, you know, he tries to throw Ben under the bus again, and she's like, "No, motherfucker, you told him to leave," you know, like, and now thanks for that, you know.
So, oh, everyone liked the video if you can. I don't know where we're at with the likes
Ludwig
and stuff.
hasn't gone anywhere.
Hold
that.
But well, yeah, he was never on this one. He's on the other ones. But Johannes says fire the composer and get Ludwig back and increase the budget. So I'm gonna work backwards here. Yeah, I agree with you. Increase the budget. Get Ludwig back. Ludwig never would have been the one for this. But what I would say, dude, is that Ludwig, it would have been a lateral move to have Ludwig, because Ludwig would be doing probably just straight up original music if we take what he's done so far into account. There wouldn't have been the Force theme and Leia's theme, and it would have just been straight up, here's some like, you know, stuff I have in Logic, and I'm gonna make that you know, a good competent score out of it. But that's what I'm gonna do probably. So
yeah, we none of us know. Look, none of us know who made the decision on the way to go with the music on this, and to throw Natalie Holt. She's an extremely brilliant composer. The totality of her work so far to me is pretty fucking amazing. I didn't much care for the music in the majority of this series, but I didn't care for a lot of the sound design in this series too. Like a lot of time the music's playing and I'm like, it's under everything, so I don't fucking know. The last episode was the first time the music became a character. And in Star Wars, much like Back to the Future, the music is a character. Can you imagine Back to the Future with a musical score that isn't giving you those cues?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You just turn all that off, and it's like you wouldn't. It's not the same thing. Jesus.
Sometimes I get Glup Shido in my brain, like it's musical.
When was
It's
Glup Shito born? That's a real fucking Star Wars name, Glup Shito.
it's a
Seriously?
meme. It's a meme. Here's Know Your Meme says Glup Shido, how you want to say is Glup Shido is a fake name used online to refer to returning characters from Star Wars extended universe in newer mainstream Star Wars media. So I of all of the stupid fan things over the years, Glub Shido is my favorite one. I mean that
gotta
one
admit,
is good.
yeah, it's pretty good. Considering
Maria,
jizz is a thing, why not?
we need Maria to be our lore fact checker because she knows everything. Maria says the only known dyad to have existed before Rey and Ben Solo is Darth Revan and Bastila Shan. They were the model by which the sequel trilogy was made. Almost every power you see Rey Ben have, Revan Bastila had. Yeah, I remember hearing about a day when JJ asked for what are some force powers that we have that we know exist that haven't been seen on screen. So I'm guessing at that point they went and kind of made him like a big list. And I don't know exactly how that would have went down, but I'm guessing that's how it happened. And so they probably those were the ones that were invented for Revan and Shan and stuff like that were probably the ones that he liked the best and decided
let's
to
be
pull
honest.
from. Mm-hmm.
Nobody here wants to see Knights of the Old Republic on a budget. So if they're
Not
gonna
on a
do it
budget,
on Disney
no.
Plus, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to put. My God, dude, did you see any of that? I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy. That's why I laugh every time when Star Wars Santa brings up Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate in the original trilogy the tangibility of everything, the way it feels real, even the fake shit, like it felt like a universe that they're living in. That's what I love about that original trilogy, which the prequels at that time, especially with Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, moved away from. It moved into the digital painterly world, and less into a world that was real to me.
Yeah.
So Amazon put up these photos of these trolls, the troll makeup they got going on. They just spent like a fucking $1 billion on this fucking thing. And you look at it and you're just setting unrealistic expectations for everyone else after that. And I'm like, even if this thing sucks, like I'm looking at the makeup work, I'm like, this shit is better makeup work than that was in anything in the fucking Doctor Strange movie. Like this is some they spent a lot of money on this, bro. A lot of money. Like, and so you say Knights of the Old Republic, it's the same thing when people bring up Cal Kestis being in a Disney Plus series. I'm like, you're getting some amazing visuals in these games. Why would you want it on something that's not going to match that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in a world, Jason, where some of us, not me, but some of us get hung up on Saul Guerrera's eyes color. You know what I mean? When you deal with the Inquisitor being like 7 feet tall in a cartoon, but he's like 5'2" in the fucking. I'm not, but when standing next to Vader, he looks 5'2".
Yeah.
Like it's just like you don't want that, right? Like you've been thinking about this character in a video game for God knows how long, and then you see it. It better come across as some money is being spent. Otherwise, even if it isn't, it just has to look like money's being spent.
Yeah. I mean, let's just make it simple for everyone. If they put out a show and it takes place in the same place that in the same like settings or with the same people from the video game, and you do a side-by-side comparison to the video game and it doesn't hold up, it's gonna get torn apart. It's gonna get destroyed online. It will be the easiest bait videos ever to make, even if the story's good. You know what I mean?
Easy bait.
Easy bake. Any news about the droid
like
show?
Easy Bake Oven. It's just
Easy
you
bake.
put all this easy shit in there and out comes hate videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arya says, what are the chances Kenobi 2 has more than 6 episodes? Imagine 12. On that kind of thing, it always depends on what the idea is and how many plot threads they would want to, chase down. Like if they were, I think if they were smart, or I'm not saying that they're not smart, but I think it would be smart to do 12 episodes and to let it go like Kenobi's storyline runs through the middle, but you veer not like how Book of Boba Fett did, but you connectively veer into here's how we're helping Roken, and here's, you know what I mean, like all of this stuff, and then really like grow those characters, because I think Roken has so much potential. I really do. I've been hearing that
Aja
for a
had a
long
lot of
time.
potential, but
Aja
that's an
still
actor.
he has
For me,
still
that's
has yeah.
yeah. But for me, that's an actor who was putting more into his performance than what was written on the page.
That's
And
great.
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just like when you have a guy doing that, you're like, all right, there's a guy that knows how to like deceive people, right? And pretend to be other things. If we're sneaking into an impenetrable fortress, you know what I mean? We probably want one of those cats on our fucking
Like
team.
if
Like,
I was writing the like the script today, like I would do stuff with Haja where like where they literally put him in harm's way, where he's like
yeah.
the bait Jedi, like kind of like what they kind of did it, but where like that's like what he usually does, and then give him some way to like barely escape every single time, and then bitch about it afterwards. And it would be, there's just
Or
like
he's
there's
their
a lot of
way
potential.
into getting him caught and then taken to the fortress, and he's able to like shut down shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, while what's her face also comes in as the Imperial, pretending to be on the Imperial, like two-prong attack. Like, I don't care about the length. What I want them to do is to really write fucking sequences that are sequences, not events happening. Like things that build and layer on top of one another that become big adventures, and utilize these players on all your pieces on your board here, you know, like in interesting and fun ways. It's very basic. Right now we're getting kind of very basic surface level, like moving the players around, and there we had some stuff happen and we did the thing, and it's like, yeah, it was cool, but it could be so much more.
That's the, and once again is the problem of it having where it was supposed to be a film, and then they moved it into a series, and then you're like, well, you have all this room, you could have, there was more time to do more, and they didn't. And but it at least it happened is on that one, because there were days when I was hearing like Kenobi's canceled, like I don't think we're doing it, I think it's done, I think it's dead now. Like that happened a couple of times. I didn't report that stuff because, you know, I was like, well,
I would have disagreed with you up until the last episode, because of what goes on. The conversation between Kenobi, it's not the fight. It's when his face is already cracked and they're talking, right? And Anakin says, I killed him, you know, and all that right there was everything I ever wanted between those two in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Like that was a legitimate, like, fucking real emotional moment and Hayden brought it, dude. Like I was like, I'd never seen this dude do other than Life as a House. I haven't seen him do anything that I cared for. You know, and I saw Life in the House in the theaters.
Yeah,
so like
Life as a House was good, but I mean, you didn't see his work with Nicolas Cage. I mean, it was really next level.
Look, Cage has been making too many movies. I can't keep track of everything.
He's doing some good ones. Pig is good.
So many.
Pig
I hear you,
good.
But there's so many films, man.
I know.
Like,
I'm kidding. I mean, the movie he did with Hayden was dog shit. But yeah. Anyways, Skeleton Crew. Tyrant hates the name. It's my most hyped thing in the pipeline for Lucas right now, but shit, what a crap title.
It is literally a Republic fucking serial style title. It's the most Star Warsy title I've heard since The Phantom Menace. You want my opinion?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't involve air or rise or revenge or deception or some fucking thespian like word. Sorry.
Well, no, we have to like look at. I mean, it may be a very good title for the show. Like a Skeleton Crew is a bare minimum. It's the bare minimum of what you need to be able to like get somewhere in a boat. Or if you're doing a Star Wars production or a film production, it's when you use the bare minimum, so there's secrecy. But I always know when they're doing it anyway. But so I'm thinking that if the story, this is my assumption, is going to be they're like marooned somewhere. They're going to meet Jude Law, and he has like shit, but you can't get it out without a crew. I think they're going to have like the bare minimum to be able to get into space. And then get going, and then they'll be out, and it'll be like, how do we get home?
There's a lot of amazing talent on that show. Anyone writing it off now because it doesn't feature your favorite Jedi. You know what I mean? Needs to.
Oh,
just go.
he's just saying he doesn't like it as a title. So
I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying there's a lot of people. Oh, this one's gonna be stupid. I'm like, he just got a $2 billion Spider-Man film. Everyone, you love it. That guy just made 3 Spider-Man films, and you don't want him making Star Wars because you guys are fucking. You don't like the title, but you tell me the prequels are great. Well, the Phantom Menace, that was a title everyone shat on for God knows how long, and Ewan shat on Attack of the Clones. So I don't know, man. Like, it's the craziest thing for me. The titles that people tend to like drive me nuts. Like fucking Revenge of the Sith is literally the least. It's the least exciting. It's the most. It's Return of the Jedi in reverse. It's Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi. Like it's like yeah, anyone would have just conjured that. That makes the most sense, right?
Revenge of the Sith was guessed millions of times before George Lucas put it into.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you just play off the other one. So instead of the Empire Strike Back, it should be the clones, give love. I don't, you know what I mean? It's just funny, man. When I think that's why Attack of the Clones. It's Attack of the Clones. It's like inverted. I think of this.
Lucas would have called it like if he hadn't had to like have a home run at that point, it would have been like Birth of a Monster or some shit like that. You know, it would have went with the Frankensteiny thing probably.
Rise of the Confederacy or some. You know the Confederacy would have been in there, dude.
So Eric says Willow, the one true Willow's girl.
Dooku's Day Out, or
Dooku's Day
Out.
Like
think about it. That's all I'm saying.
My first rule as emperor is Tuesdays now Dooku's Day. But Eric says Willow. Whoa, you changed it on me.
No. I know the bitching of sketchcraft. That's the one I like. That's mine. That's mine. Sorry. Go back to the other one. Sorry. It doesn't put up the last one. That's my bad.
I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is.
That's
all right. Willow, the one true Willow's girlfriend was Tara. I had a friend who was in a band back in like the early 2000s, and dated her, and every single show would tell people I'm dating Willow from Buffy. Like,
Allison Hannigan.
Yeah. She was cute back then. I mean, she's probably cute now. I haven't seen her in a year. I don't know what she looks like.
Jason, careful how you say it.
Yeah, I have no idea. What she looks like now. Ring King says we can get Jawas all over, but we can't get an Ewok. Return to Star Wars some way. That's what bugs me. Yeah, see, like the idea with like the Ewok thing is that the Ewoks aren't all throughout the galaxy, that they're supposed to be like a rare special thing that are only on Endor, and when you meet them there, it's like, whoa, what is this? But I would say after Return of the Jedi, with how colonialism tends to work, Endor's probably going to get settled by the freedom fighting force who was there and all of the stuff that's going to happen right then. And so I would be fine with there being Ewoks places post Return of the Jedi, especially when we get down to the sequel trilogy era and you have like generations where that could have happened. I'm cooler with that there. But also what I would say is when they do like a fucking pirate Ewok one day, we're going to be like, thank God they didn't just start putting, Ewoks everywhere and they stayed to make this pirate Ewok.
Can you imagine if Lucas had the Jawas and the Ewoks speaking basic, like every of these? The one thing I will complain about.
Oh, hey, I'm Wicket. I'll help you get up to the Ewok village, and maybe we could help your friends.
They gotta stop this. They gotta stop.
Stop it.
I used to complain about it, and people would go, "Look, you gotta understand. It's the humans are in charge now, so everyone's speaking basic." I'm like, that's not how it works. But then, okay, if that is how it works, then why the hell would the shopkeeper on Mos Eisley when the Hutts control the shit out of that planet be speaking anything other than Huttese? Yeah. Seriously, you know, like I don't get it. You know?
Mm-hmm. No, it's they definitely need to understand that while their exoticism is visually a part of Star Wars and very important, so is language. And in that instance right there. Like there's so many times when they're afraid of you missing an important story beat because you can't understand it. But there's ways of writing it that you can make it where the alien goes gawk 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 and then go, I know Chewbacca, but there's ways of doing it. Okay, I'll go to Anchorhead. Like there's just do that. And
I'm a little old Jawa here on Mos Eisley. I done took your stuff, Obi. Gonna resell it to you.
Ooh, teeny friend.
Yeah, ooh, teeny.
Eric says,
have I bitched enough for you, Tim? Hold on. Hold on. But wait, there's more. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Eric thinks Leia meant full blown military in A New Hope. Yeah, I think so too.
Full blown. What was the show they went full blown AIDS? Trying to remember that one.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was kind of. I don't. It's probably a bit hacky now, but I remember a lot of comedians going like, "What's full blown AIDS? Like I got AIDS or I don't? What's full blown?" It became like a whole
full blown is something I remember being of an era. Yeah.
Okay. How about Boba Fett 2 is called Full Blown Boba.
Look, let's not give Fennec Shand more to do. You know what I mean?
Full blown Shand.
There you go. Make Boba work for it. You know what I'm saying?
I hope they take the lesson from Kenobi and don't look at the big viewership as a sign that the show was a complete success. Season 2 needs a new writer director to fix issues from season 1. Or I'm going to suggest that maybe the people who worked on the first one come back and know what didn't work. But see, here's the thing that we always need to remember is that it would be a damn shame if Deborah Chow was like, I need $50,000 to do this part right, and they're like, well, they Kenobi her, you have 10. You know what I mean? And then she's like, okay, and at the end of the day, like,
right,
she delivered what they paid for.
When it comes to the look of things or the quality of things, the directors don't. That's a producer thing.
It is a producer thing. Yeah,
that's literally the whole fucking job for. Looking at you, Kurtz, to figure out how much it's going to cost, especially with rising inflation, Kurtz. So, all I'm saying is inflation didn't start until blue screen. But I know, I know, folks. I know, I'm not an idiot, but I just like playing one. It's funner. But yeah, so this is no kink shaming.
I don't know.
Kink shaming.
I don't know, but we don't kink shame. We were just joking.
It was the minor voices.
Oh, she's like RF Gaming Channel was like, oh, I love that old 49er voice. Here, sorry. You know what?
Want to go panning for gold down my pants?
Yeah. Miss Sunflower feels that the music was almost non-existent. Yeah, they definitely they were doing a small to big thing, and I'm curious to Miss Sunflower when you watch it, if you do watch it again, let me know if your opinion changes as you get to the back end of it, because the back end of it did change my opinion of it quite a bit, and I think I'm a fan of the music when Vader and Obi-Wan are fighting. I think that was actually like pretty rad. And in a weird way, my almost like retro critique of that is I feel like that theme should have been made a little bit grander and then done earlier on smaller and like played throughout, but also like that there's moments of that Obi-Wan theme that do hit that John Williams wrote when you get to the end. That I don't know what you call it. I'm gonna get the song
I blame
and pull it out.
John Williams, Jason, for not giving Obi-Wan essentially the Top Gun thing. Like, just think of this whole series, but with the Top Gun thing. Every time he looks at, and I'm Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, got to say.
I was hoping it was going to be like,
Obi-Wan.
He gets out a trumpet and he's like, he's just like doing Highway to the Danger Zone. She's like, that's Highway to the Danger Zone, John Williams. And he's just like, and he's like, I did it.
No,
I fucking did it, Natalie. I fucking did it, Natalie.
Harold Faltermeyer is the real key here. We needed a Harold Faltermeyer Obi-Wan score like that.
No, that is the amazing thing about Top Gun 1 is most of these movies, they get one good song. Top Gun had two good songs.
I have complained about the music, but I just want to be very clear here. Like, if you're going to have a synth sounding score, I don't mean that it was made on a synthesizer, because you can make, with Spitfire audio, you can make symphonic shit on this. Literally orchestrated stuff on a keyboard. It's pretty amazing. However, if you're going to have a synth style score, but then John Williams hands you an orchestrated theme for Obi-Wan, it's confusing, Jason. It's just confusing. You have to then translate that back into a synth version to make it all tie together. It's just a lot of clashing things, man. You know, it's a lot of little like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Griffin gives the show a B-, says it should all dropped at once. I gotta say,
It is
Griffin,
3.5 hours, Jason.
I'm happy it was a B- for you, because a couple of times when we were talking, it sounded like it was getting like a D from you. But so
They finished
I'm
strong.
glad
That's why, Jason.
they did finish strong. But I don't
It's
know,
the key.
man. I think there's a lot of underrated stuff in that show. Those guys complaining about Baru can't get a girlfriend to know that's how marriage works. This is true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most realistic. That moment when he says Ben left, like a dig on him, and she goes, "Yeah, it's your fucking fault." I'm like, that is the most. Not since Empire Strikes Back have I seen a more realistic relationship, you know, in Star Wars, like that right there. That.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Rick, we will do a UFO show pretty soon. I've been thinking about it. We've been so busy with Kenobi being on and stuff for like last couple of weeks and the ramp up to it. And then on top of that, UFO stuff keeps happening. And like, I want to cover it like as it's like when it's happened. But you know, like the big things that keep happening is like, oh, I think that's clearly birds. So I'm not sure if like that ends up becoming a boring thing where we're just like, let's debunk this, basically, in my opinion. But I will say, I watched the documentary on the Zimbabwe kids, and if Rob has time and checks it out, maybe me and Rob could talk about that documentary about the it's called the aerial phenomenon, I think is what it's called. And it's really good. If anyone's never seen anything about the aerial school and what happened there, I suggest not looking up anything on it and watching that documentary, because it has pretty much all of it. It's pretty good. So
hold on, I want to bring this one up really quick.
Okay.
Why doesn't YouTube have a block YouTube channel from recommendations so I never see horrible videos? I've asked them about this, because my channel, every year they call, you know, every other year now, it used to be every year, now it's every year. They go, get on the line and speak to someone to help you grow your channel, right? And they won't admit it. They keep dodging it. And my theory is, based on the conversations I have with them, is it would kill the channels that are making them the most money right now. Like you would block every corporate fucking channel. You would block anyone with the sponsorship that you didn't like, and then you would block all the fucking hate baiters, and all that shit is what's making them the most amount of money.
They know that people will see something, people will hate watch things too. And that right there is that's money. Oh, what is dumb fuck saying now? Is dumb fuck really doing that? It's easy to block
shit on every other platform, but YouTube makes you go around a hoop and a leg to get this and then to go with that. You just can't just immediately do it. Yeah. And that's why there have been times I'm like, how do I get rid of this motherfucker? And I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. I'll do it. And then I don't. Like, they know it.
But what's funny is I think that like their vision is so short term and bad. Like the reality is, like, YouTube Star Wars pretty much sucks because it rewards evil YouTube. It rewards race baiters. So Star Wars fans just are like, fuck it, I'm just not in. Like, the amount of people who are like participating in like good Star Wars stuff, it's really small compared to the bad. And that's not because Star Wars is good or bad, because the people that are dealing in that stuff are dealing in their fan fiction. It has nothing to do with reality. So you can't even call it a critique of Star Wars.
Darren says, I'm sure that works. I tried it with Geeks and Gamers, and now their videos don't pop up as much. Yeah, but they still do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about eliminate. I never want to see this shit. And you can't do, like, if I type in a search engine into YouTube, I go, Obi-Wan, whatever. And it brings up a list. And all of it's like Joe Rogan, right? Let's just say theoretically.
Obi-Wan, January 6th?
Yeah. No. January the 6th. And it's all fucking Joe Rogan. When on the search, right? I can't just click on that and go block this, never want to see this from the search. You can't even do that from the search picks. You know, you have to go into them individual. It's such a fucking nightmare, dude. And again, that's because I guarantee you it's tied to their stupid ad revenue. You know, the way they sell shit to companies. Because you imagine if you're like, hey, I'm Nabisco. I want to sign a fucking ad deal with YouTube. And YouTube goes, great. And then they say, hey, they can block Nabisco, you know what I mean, from all this shit? Yeah, then why would I fucking sign up with you? That's why.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, Arya says the option isn't there for me as well, but I never want to see their dog shit videos and takes. Yeah, that's and to be like clear, like for instance, like our buddy X-Wing, he didn't like Kenobi. Like I'm not saying people should like block him, not watch his stuff because like of a differing opinion. Like I don't think that would necessarily. I think hearing like valid criticism is completely it's important and it's important and if you're a creative or if you're training to be or intend to be or want to be, it's important that these kind of ideas and thinking in these terms that you're like developing it, not just hearing like everything is great. But a lot of those people, they go and they make controversies that don't exist into and then they like literally will them. They make them into a tulpa. Which is like when you make a monster that's not real, and then you go, who did that? Oh, did I do that? Yeah, you Urkel bitch, you did do it. Griffin Campbell says, I hate watch Star Wars theory sometimes. The game is, how long can I possibly stand it? Usually less than 3 minutes. Well, hey, I mean, I don't think he minds because those 3 million people are buying him Lambos. So I think it works for him. And but I mean, overall, like I said, I don't know. I'm not going to tell anybody who they should or shouldn't follow. I think you should.
Whoa.
I think if you're. Oh yeah. He officially.
Is that real?
He officially retired. Let's see. Let's Google it. John Williams. Because that's not good for us indie people, but he's. And maybe he already did some work on it. I hope.
Let me Alan Silvestri could pick up the reins.
Well, John Williams announced his intentions to retire from his film score composing after the release of the 5th Indiana Jones film in 2023 to focus on composing independent orchestral and symphonic pieces. And that's what it says. But if there was something new,
is this like Kiss retiring? Is he gonna come back every
how many farewell tours at the Hollywood Bowl are you gonna do, Williams?
He's doing less and less time on those Hollywood Bowl things too. It used to be the whole thing and then half the thing, and now it's like for like 20 minutes.
So Tim says the Washington Post is saying that. So does that mean he has he hold on, I'm gonna type in Washington Post and see if I get the article. I'm curious. Yeah, 3 hours ago, John Williams, 90, steps away from film, but not music. After more than 6 decades of making bicycles soar, sending panic swimmers to the shore, and other spellbinding close encounters, John Williams is putting the final notes on what may be his last film score. At the moment, I'm working on Indiana Jones 5, which Harrison Ford, who's quite a bit younger than I am, I think has announced will be his. Wait, listen.
No, it's great though. Right?
Listen. He says, I think has announced will be his last film. He didn't announce that, I don't think. So I think Williams might have went a little making Star Wars there.
Remember when Michael Keaton gave away the whole end of Batman the day before it came out? No, so for real. Like he went on to David Letterman and gave away the ending of the fucking movie. I was watching it. That's why I was like, oh, I want to see that now.
That's why shit doesn't matter. It only helps it. So I thought if Harrison can do it, then perhaps I can also. That's not something he's just going to pull out of his ass. Like, so Harrison Ford is clearly retiring with Indiana Jones. There was a moment at Celebration where they were playing and like Ford comes up and they're like teary eyed. So I think that must be what they must have had the combo.
Do you think Ford comes back for Apocalypse later? He reprises his role. He comes out of it for Apocalypse. Yeah,
he comes back for Apocalypse soon, then Apocalypse sooner than later, which is the sequel. Yeah.
Why wasn't that one of those spoof movies?
Right.
It seems like it's rife for like a war. I don't think Full Metal Jacket spoof Vietnam movie.
I don't think you can make fun of Vietnam back then. I don't think it would have flown.
You telling me you really?
But the funniest Vietnam joke ever was Back to the Future Part 2 when they have Surf Vietnam. Everyone was like, "Oh, that'll definitely happen."
See, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like they could have got away with it, but whatever.
So he is, officially, saying it again, retiring, but he is doing Indiana Jones, the final indie movie, and I think that's a great think that's a pretty good way to capstone everything for him. I think he's given us a lot, and I think he should retire. I think he should enjoy his free time, unless that's how he enjoys his free time, is just writing music. Then wants to do his own, then that's Brad. And I think Harrison
He
Ford
writes
too.
themes for characters that don't match up to them anymore. Like he's got 4 themes for Casper. He didn't even score the movie, but he's got them ready.
Derek says there's way too many negative videos on YouTube, and then we'll see it again if the Indiana Jones movie hits.
And let's not confuse negative videos with some of us just being critical of the final product. All right, like you can be 100% positive and critical at the same time.
So the one thing I would say, Arya, is we don't know who they would bring back, who would come back. Most likely, Joby would come back as showrunner, and would then have a hand in the writing process. And Joby built upon the work of the previous writers, and brought it all together, and then was the showrunner. So you can't like discount his influence on it, but also he wasn't the only thing. In some ways, it's like a friend of mine was saying like like it's kind of his baby. But then it's like, how do you make it his baby when it's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader fighting? And it's Lucasfilm. Other people are right. It's like not really your baby. So it's a kind of an interesting place where he's at on that stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I would not be mad if they brought back all of those people, made them in a writer's room and did it. I also wouldn't be mad if they took a fresh approach, building on with different people, because sometimes you bring in new people and it. As long as it's not like new people who are like, oh, I just don't like that. The path is now called the way, and I have a new Tala and she's better. Like stuff, shit like that. Like I don't want them to J.J. Abrams it, Lucas.
Yeah, well, the problem, Jason, is that Stuart Beattie just keeps repitching to them Monkey Island every time he's in the room. So it takes fucking weeks to get him to stop talking about curses and pirates and monkeys and shit. So
yeah,
it's a process. It's not going to be easy to deal with.
The thing about this one though, Lucas, is if they do continue, it is literally a sequel to the Kenobi series, and I think that a lot of the hard stuff is out of the way. Like they don't have to figure out like how do we get Leia off the world? How do we make all of this checkboxy stuff like really, really solid? And so in certain ways, yeah. Do you agree, Lucas, or do you think I'm wrong?
What? I wasn't paying attention.
Sorry.
Yeah. Look, it's easy to make Star Wars. You just get some coffee, some blue screens. You make up whatever alien languages you need right on the set. And it writes itself. Yeah. It's pretty easy. I say do it again. Also, who was that? I forget his name. Who was that guy who helped me with Attack of the Clones? What was his name? Justin.
No,
James.
see, you're saying names now, Lucas, and now I can't help you. Once you say a name, you have now ruined my.
He's free. He hasn't been working since. Yeah, it's a problem with Lucas.
But yeah, well, anyway, we will. I would just say like with Darren's comment, like here, like negativity sells. I think people should look at who they follow with the Star Wars stuff and ask themselves if they have ever liked anything. And if they haven't ever liked anything, or if they talk out both sides of their mouth where they're like, I hate it and like it, so that way I could say I always liked one or the other, like don't fall for that shit. But there's what's the saying? There's a new sucker born every second. And the YouTube audience seems to prove it time and time again.
Is it like the McDonald's sign where the sucker cat just keeps going up every day? Like, how do they track all those customers served?
Yeah. I mean, hamburger sales, dude. How many buns did we move out of here? How many buns didn't go back?
But what happens when the majority of the stuff you sell, like in China, isn't hamburgers, right? It's like chicken, or they have like different things in McDonald's.
Oh, well, I don't think McDonald's was in China when they were like doing the billion serve thing. They kind of stopped the billion serve thing. Yeah, I don't see that anymore. Do you? Do you ever see like the billion served? Because it should probably be like trillions.
Doing McDonald's since 1990.
Rob, you live in the United States of America. You go to take a shit somewhere, you're gonna fucking pass.
I don't go to McDonald's. I couldn't tell you.
I know, but but you drive by them.
No, I don't.
There's no McDonald's in your towns, really?
Bro, like nowhere near me.
I'm literally
There's
I'm not.
one across town,
Mhm.
right? And the last time I even looked at it might have been 5 years ago, and I couldn't tell you. Like, and I'm being honest. Like,
Yeah. In Southern California, if I drive to the grocery store this way,
right.
I will pass 2. If I drive to the grocery store over here, I will pass 1.
Yeah, I
like I literally cannot pass a McDonald's. Yeah. Are you?
And there's 15 liquor shops.
Are you a fucking Russian, dude? Are you a fucking Russian, bro? No.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
We're hitting that phase. We're hitting that point.
You unleash it. Ho ho ho! Das Putin!
Oh, no! I knew it. I knew
Santa Putin is here.
Oh man.
Yeah. My friend was going, "You think that's going to be seen as a racist?" I'm like, I don't give a shit. If you're at war, when we invade another country, and it's coming sooner than later, because that's what we do, I'll be out there to make fun of that fucking regime too. You know?
I like what Tyron says. You can 100% be critical of something, but still be a fan. I'm critical of Rob's opinion of Avatar, Back to the Future, PlayStation, a lot of things. I'm still a fan, and I'm not a shitbag about it. Exactly. No, it is.
What's wrong with PlayStation?
I don't even know what your opinion on PlayStation was, but I think we have to save it for another day because we're 2:25 in, and these people got to go home. They can't stay here.
You got lucky. I turned in my work this morning for a review, and I haven't got anything back. So I've been like, I can pay attention to the chat today. I'm still doing work.
Right.
I can actually look up, you know. So
well,
yeah, it's over. It went by fast.
Good news.
Get the fuck out of my house.
That guy's younger than John Williams. Wow.
Yep. It's true. It's true. All right, everyone. I think we will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, give or take a few minutes, but probably at 11 a.m. And suckers. But yeah, we'll come back. We'll talk about more about what's going on. There probably will be 15 more articles about Kenobi 2 coming out. And
sorry about that.
Yeah,
I've been writing them all night.
You know, you do your best. I mean, they're convincing. You write a good Kathleen Kennedy. She's like, we hear the fans talking, and we hear them. I don't know, something like that.
I just hear her as Eartha Kitt from Emperor's New Groove. That's how I would hear Kathleen Kennedy.
All right. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Bye, Rob.
Peace.
See you guys tomorrow.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.